It's raining, it's gonna be raining bullets and lots of things. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dr. Sid. Welcome to the final show. It's the final countdown. We are live at the Apex Legends NODWIN Gaming African Throwdown. Apex Legends African Throwdown brought to you by NODWIN Gaming. I'm here, Dr. Sid, with the amazing Tendo and Esmery. You can see I'm dressed for the weather. We're about to see a masterclass of bullets raining and bombardments and domes coming out. I'm super excited, super hyped guy. Tendo, how are you feeling today?
I am super excited. I know we've been here for a very long time. We've been watching these teams perform, and now it is finally that time for them to come and show exactly what they got and prove to Africa who is the champion of the African Throwdown. Esmery, are you feeling excited for this?
Ooh, we started on the 26th of March. We started this journey, and now we're finally going to know who's going to be the best in the African content for the African Throwdown. It's going to be insane.
See, I can't even wait to find out and see what these teams are going to do today. So without further ado, let's take a look at the teams that made it into the finals of the Apex. And look at this, the grand finale. Ladies and gentlemen, Deno, talk us through some of these teams. I mean, there are some favorites in here, but talk us through these teams and who's likely to do what.
Yeah, I mean, of course, we got to look at our favorite teams that are sitting right at the top, surprisingly, on both sides, ATK and DNMK. We know they're going to, put a showing in today. And honestly, this is the first time we're going to see ATK and DNMK in the same lobby. And this is going to be really, really interesting to see. But look, I'm looking at Mayo, Addicts, Underrated, OGC, Revert, Caustic. The streamer team might pop up and do something crazy. PunX, they've been having rough times in this African Throwdown. But I think today might be PunX day. You don't know what will happen. We've got the John Wick team of Elite Gaming. We know Vyaz is coming through. He's ready to ruin some days, with that Revenant gameplay. Blind Peekers, Gutbuster and the boys are amped and ready to do the things and make it happen today, Dr. Sid.
Yeah, and I'm super excited to see all the way down to number 20 Outlaws NG repping for West Africa. Listen, these boys have done amazingly well. I have no idea how they snuck into the final, but it just looks amazing, and I'm super excited about what's going to be happening today. Now, let me take a look at the schedule. Esmery, talk us through what's happening in the schedule today.
As per usual, it is the first set of finals, and of course, it's going to be the first set of 4 maps. Kings Canyon and Olympus is the flavor for today, and as we know, they've got 2 chances on each map, going to be alternating between the 2, and that always brings a little bit of an excitement there. So, I mean, match 3 and 4 should be pretty interesting to look at. By that time, they've had their warm-up on each of the maps. They're all ready. They're all set. They know how everyone's playing. I'm expecting match 1 and 2 to be a little bit more, careful. Surely people should be taking their time, sussing out the competition. But it's bang. It's just going to be so good.
Now, very quickly, let's take a look at the points distribution. How these players are going to be making points to get into the top 4 spots today. And you can see first position gets 20 points. Placement 14, 10, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you definitely want to be getting in that top 3 spots if you want to be having a good chance to get into the top 4 today. But also what we don't take for granted is the kill point. 1 point per kill. So when our teams go ham and they go out and attack and play heavy, those kill points definitely come into play. And what are these players all fighting for? What has it all been about these last few weeks? Ladies and gentlemen, it's a $1,000 prize pool with 4th place getting $100, 3rd place getting $200, 2nd place getting $300, and our Apex champions for Africa getting $400. It is going to be lit. It is going to be exciting. Like I said, I'm dressed for the weather. I'm all bright and yellow, so you can't miss me when you see me. Listen, our players are getting ready. I don't know. Tendo, what are you expecting any difference in strategy from some of the teams today?
Look, I mean, in a lot of the group stage games, we saw on Kings Canyon that Crash Side was a very heavily contested area by a lot of our top teams. So I'm wondering, are we going to see a lot of contesting, on that north side of the map today? So, we're going to have to be looking out where all the fights are going to be distributing. So I think the first two games is really going to be everybody trying to feel each other out and see, exactly what everybody's playstyle is. But I mean, look, we have 2 days of finals at the end of the day as well. So I feel like today everyone has to feel each other out, see how everybody's playstyle is. We can't let one team run away too much, with their points, farming kills up in the lobby, etc., etc. We kind of need a bit of a balanced, day to start things off so that tomorrow when we lead in to the final 4 games, we can really see who's the best of the best. So I think today we need to see a little bit of feeling out to see who's really, got the flavor to give us the action.
Esmery, do you agree with that? Or do you think somebody is just going to say, you know what? I'm just going to go and leave the pack behind?
Look, everyone, sort of gets their idea of who they're playing against in a different way. Some people like to play it slow, play with the zone. We know a few teams like to do that, go for placements, play it safe, see how everyone's playing, and then make their decision based on that. And some teams, the best way they figure out how, the competition is looking is by just going straight in there with all the best loot they've got and trying to get as many kills as they can. It depends. The teams are different. Everyone plays differently. How they're going to suss each other out, we don't know yet. We don't know how those first 2 maps are. I am expecting some of the teams to play a little bit slower. Obviously, they know they're up against some high competition, and some of the teams that they've never even played for. Like we said, ATK and DNMK have never been in a group together. They've obviously been playing against each other in other tournaments, but African Throwdown is a whole different ballgame. So I think there's going to be a little bit of both.
I can't wait to see some of these matchups. I mean, in some of the previous games in the semifinals, we saw some of our top tier teams coming head to head, and they end up canceling each other out, but they all made it into the finals. Today it's about the top 4. Today 4 matches, tomorrow another 4 matches. It is the grand final, day 1 of the Apex Legends African Throwdown, brought to you by NODWIN Gaming. Make sure you follow NODWIN Gaming on all our socials right now because you don't want to miss any information that's coming out. Something could happen today. A lot of information could be passed and you would miss it. So make sure you follow NODWIN Gaming on all the socials. But right now, let's take a look at the map where the first game in the grand finals is going to be played. It is Kings Canyon. Talk us through this one, Esmery.
The love of my life for Apex. I love this map. It's such a good map to have teams playing on, and especially for that warm-up. It's a map they all know and they love, and I mean, just the space that it gives a lot of these teams to get down, get their loot phase over and done with, and get themselves set up for those fights. I just love it. The addition of, those ultimate pillars, the charge towers, those always just come in quite interestingly for the lifelines or any of the other players looking for that early ult. And it normally brings in some interesting fights. Some of the positions on this map alone, I mean, just the height capabilities, the distancing, the spacing, the cover that you've got available. It's such a fun one.
Tendos, what legend combinations are we seeing? Are we likely to see something similar, or do you think people are going to switch it up for the finals today?
Yeah, I mean, look, like I said, the first game or 2, we're going to probably see what everybody feels like is going to be the best legend to counter the lobby. And then they're probably going to try readjust after that. But I mean, we're obviously going to see Gibraltar's on the playing field. I'm sure we'll see a few Wraiths out there, the Bloodhounds, because people love their Bloodhound scans. And, getting all that information is going to be really crucial, especially on some of the rotates that are going to happen on this map. So I think in terms of legend compositions, it's going to be our standard, what we've been seeing. I'm sure we'll see Octanes as well, because, I mean, a lot of these teams love to run at people. Maybe a little bit of Revenant splashed in there as well. So I think we'll see quite a diversity in legend composition to start off with, and then maybe towards the later end of the day, around game 3, game 4, people would have snuffed out the lobby a little bit and figured out what legends they need to be using to counter the playstyle of the lobby.
Well, guys, as you saw earlier on, I got my yellow Gibby bubble on because I'm ready to protect myself from any bombardments that's going to come on in the grand finale today. I'm going to leave this amazing audience right now watching us live via Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube to enjoy the amazing show that is the Apex Legends African Throwdown, brought to you by NODWIN Gaming in the very capable hands of Tendo and Esmery. Take it away, guys.
Woo, Thendo, here it is. It's gonna be exciting. First time casting with you, man, and what a day to be casting.
Yeah, definitely what a day to be casting. I'm excited, and I know you are excited as well, because we know these teams are going to give us all the action and all the flavor. I mean, look, without spoiling anything, who are you calling, at the end of the table today, after the first day of the finals, to be at the top 3?
We mentioned a couple of those teams, our favorites, our DNMKs, our ATKs. I am looking at Blind Peakers. I am looking at Elite Gaming, Underrated, Mayo, Addicts, a couple of those other teams that have been making those plays. Even OGC, Lag, they still a couple of wins away from, the big dogs towards the end of the group stages and the semifinals. So there's a lot of potential here, but I am expecting the favorites to do what they normally do. I just hope that those teams that have not yet been in the spotlights, who have not yet taken a W, are going to be gunning for those Ws today.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm looking at teams like PunX, who had that one game on Olympus where it seemed like, they'd win the game, but they ended up going down to Elite Wannabes. And surprisingly, Elite Wannabes aren't joining us in this one. They kind of had a tragic semi-final run, and I mean, it does happen. But thankfully, we've got most of the top performing teams in this one, so it is going to be really competitive. And like you mentioned, OGC, I think OGC is probably going to thrive in today's lobby because, OGC has been tailored to become a little bit more of a scrim team. So playing alongside more even opponents is probably gonna, benefit their playstyle. They're probably gonna look for some rotates and try, set up themselves in a good position. But I mean, you got ATK in the lobby as well, who will probably be trying to do the same thing. Obviously, DNMK is a little bit more aggressive when it comes to African Throwdown and just like, the Africa playstyle a little bit. So we might not see them trying to do that, but it'll be very interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I think a lot of these teams are going to be going on the aggressive stance. I mean, especially the teams that have been performing well. I mean, your high kill earning teams like Blind Peakers, like DNMK, like ATK, all of those guys, I mean, they've been doing well. They've been having an absolute field day. And I mean, this tournament is, a little bit more of a fun tournament. It really does cater to a lot of your casual teams as well, brings in the professional teams as well. It creates such a fun dynamic that a lot of teams can actually take advantage of. They know who they're playing against for most parts, and we'll see how it plays out today. I mean, they've had a little bit of a better idea of what they're playing against in the semifinals, and now it's all come to this. The finals are here, the first map, Kings Canyon, and as the players get ready to drop, I am wondering about, what we mentioned about those early contests. Maybe Crash Site is going to be an early 50-50, or maybe the teams will be giving each other a little bit more respect to get their loot phase over and done with in a slightly peaceful manner.
Yeah, I mean, I'd, be appreciative of a little bit of a calmer early game, and not to get everybody to, frantic to start things off. But you know what, DNMK is dropping down. And it's either Spotted Lake, no, they're pinging Spotted Lake. So they'll be going towards Spotted Lake. Esmeri, how many people are going towards Spotted Lake? I swear it looks like the entire lobby is coming to Spotted Lake. What is about to go down in this throwdown over here? As we tune into our Trilly, he finds himself a devotion. He has a blue armor next to him as well. So for now, things are looking calm for DNMK. It doesn't seem like anybody has dropped on top of their heads, but there were quite a few people in the area.
Yeah, no, I think those teams, they pulled off. They obviously are getting loot semi-close. They couldn't really have gotten quite far with the way that they were taking those pathings. There was a lot of teams there. Now, I couldn't count all of them, but there was a lot of teams. So we might see an earlier couple of 50-50s. Obviously, the teams have, spawned off to a couple of buildings of their own to get their loot ready to go for these potential fights. But DNMK might be finding themselves slightly surrounded, and we can spot into ATK here also going through their loot phases. It is interesting though, this early contention, which obviously we've seen these surprises come through in the semifinals before as well, took out a couple of our favorites. Whether or not that's going to happen today on the first map of finals would be quite an interesting one.
Yeah, and there've already been a couple of teams that have been knocked down. I think maybe those Outlaws, if I caught the names correctly. ATK seem to have been contested and won their fight, so ATK's got the kill points up on the board, and now DNMK taking a couple of shots. The triple take shots from Tenchi going crazy. Yeah, 69 Gaming's on the receiving end of that one, but no one has been knocked just as yet. And there's so many teams in this area, so the third party is imminent, and I'm sure most of these teams know that. So they're trying to play this one from distance, and that's exactly why Tenchi's taking these type of shots, and he manages to get the knock as well, which is clean from them. So now they're gonna try to send some blood, but 69 Gaming is also trying to respond just a little tiny bit. Akami takes a little bit of damage, actually tries to run away, but it's to no avail. I think 69 Gaming has just been taken out right there in that fight.
And I've been watching the kill feed. We've got teams like Underrated and Blind Peakers also taking a couple of fights, taking a couple of kills and knocks. So we've got some early action already going down. Blind Peakers, as I was talking about them, Gutbuster is down. Blind Peakers find themselves in a 2vx situation right now, and 20 making his debut for the Blind Peakers roster as the super sub coming in. We'll have to see how they're going to recover from this situation right now, because the nades are flying in. PunX Gaming coming into the party as well. What is happening? I thought we were going to have quite a quiet game, but no way, Jose. Teams are looking for the kills.
Yeah, not on the African Throwdown, not here, where everybody loves the action, and the action is definitely crazy. And Lag, a team that was performing so well, is the team going up against Blind Peakers, who go down. Aquatic manages to get the 3-piece on them. That's a little bit unfortunate for Lag. I'm sure they're going to be devastated to have run into Blind Peakers on their first fight, especially since Blind Peakers is such a formidable force in this lobby. Good for Blind Peakers, though. They get that early KP, they get map room to themselves. And I'm sure that was a early game contestant, so now we're going to be wondering if Lag is going to be dropping back in that same position, knowing that Blind Peakers is going to be there. ATK have made their rotation, so they've strayed away from that side where DNMK was, but they are on the same side, so they might run into each other. No, it does seem like DNMK actually is still a little bit behind them, so they might go towards containment for their rotation. And yeah, man, Esmery, a lot of fights to break things off, you know. I mean, PunX, hopefully they've won their fight and recovered. I saw that Falco was knocked down. Falco coming in as a replacement for today's PunX lineup.
There's quite a few replacements actually coming in, of course, you know, situations happening, but it's interesting because it just adds more flavor. And here's the team that I believe Camille was saying you're putting a little bit of pressure on. You expect them to do well, otherwise you're gonna have some words to say about it later.
Yeah, I mean, look, Revert, Caustic definitely have the skill, and they play the game enough, you know, to perform in this lobby. They just need to make sure they've got a clear voice and a clear leader in the team. And Krokkenosters now are taking a lot of heat, and they're actually up against PunX in this area. And Crash Side, which I said was going to be very heavily contested by a lot of our top teams, seems to be going off. And Tremble and Falco still up in this fight. It's all us to Washburn, who has to try clutch things up, but it doesn't look like that's gonna happen as PunX take them out. So PunX doing well here to start things off. They managed to win the fight. They claim Crash Site as their own, as none of the top teams have landed in this area, which is really surprising for me. So PunX is gonna be the team to be in this area for our finals, it seems.
Oh, Calder, just get that pop off. Oh, okay. It was close. I was watching it. And we were talking about the rotations earlier on. I mean, you can see DNMK, they're already looking to finish off their looting and get back in it. They might be running into a couple of surprises here. PunX obviously on the back line in the zone right now, still looting away, still getting everything sorted. But man, I mean, first zone down, already 4 teams, and we've had so much action to start it off with. And we were wondering, you know, how are these teams going to be going? Are they going to be giving that respect, you know, for the loot phase to complete itself in its entirety, or are they going to go for the fights? And I'm seeing a little bit of 50-50. You know, we've got some teams that are obviously taking the aggressive stances. We've got some teams that are, you know, going for those slow passive plays. But man, this is just turning out to be the cracker of the finals that we've been waiting for.
Yeah, it's definitely a cracker, and it looks like ATK is flying over towards OGC side, so they gotta be a little bit careful. A couple of fights are breaking off in the area as well, so there's going to be a lot of attention on this rotate. They are in the zone towards the edge, so they're just going to hold their position. And this is what I was talking about with OGC. Scrim-tailored, ready to hold the position, not really fishing for kills, knowing that placement points really matter more. And especially since, first place is 20 points, you really do need to be winning these games out. And OGC is definitely looking to win their games.
Potential always there. 16 teams left, and as the rotations head through, round 1 busy closing. I think a lot of these teams are actually fairly good, well off. I mean, we've got some decent loot on a lot of these teams. Purple Shields, DNMK, of course. I think that's also thanks to those triple shots we saw earlier. And MaFisi down to only 2 players. That's quite interesting. So we might see a couple of rat games coming through once again. Maybe a repeat of what we saw from Leeuwen. But we'll see how that pans out. It's unfortunate, though, to just be not a full squad from the get-go. But it's a little bit easier to, just coordinate those efforts. There's only one other person that you have to worry about getting that information to. 80K now, we were wondering if they were going to be taking on, that OGC action, flying through, getting quite close. But for now, it just looks like they're waiting to see if they can surprise anyone. And PunX going to be one of the teams rotating in quite late. Might be finding a bit of a surprise in the form of DNMK. So that's going to be interesting. You can see DNMK, they're actually heading back towards the zone where PunX are busy rotating towards. Ooh, we might have PunX and DNMK going head to head quite early on.
Yeah, they might head to head a little bit early, but it doesn't seem like DNMK is really looking towards their backside. And PunX has stopped now to get a little bit of meds because the rotate in the zone is going to be a little bit hectic for them. Good idea. It's not bad to, play in the zone like this. You get a little bit of time down on that ring. You get to play edge of the zone a little bit. So you're going to be that team that's able to farm the kills and, able to third party. But I'm interested in how 80K is playing today. I think 80K know that they really just can't run through this lobby because, yeah, I mean, look, we're flipping through these teams, and every team that I see, I'm just like, yeah, man, these guys can really give it to them, like underrated. We can't look past them. They can really give us a show here today. So underrated, just playing slowly as well. 80K, yeah, they're just hanging around on the edge of the zone, trying to plot out what rotation to take, probably just trying to work out how to make their way towards the zone, especially considering they don't have a recon legend such as a Bloodhound or Pathfinder to scan the zone. So they're really counting on their rotations. And speaking of rotations, it seems like they've got a team out of rotation here. 80K, though, need to be careful because their back is against the wall here. They do have the totem ready to go. They're going to actually go for this play. And yes, Dustweaker jumping in. He's going to take a little bit of damage. No, he doesn't. He actually does so much damage onto Neo.
Ooh.
Thank goodness he gets sent back. Yo, OGC is actually taking so much heat here. 80K has just played this totem so well. They've done so much damage on the entry frags. And I think it's just looking a little bit bleak for OGC now, who are just trying to back off. Astro's the only player left. He needs to get around the corner. He can't. He has to get into a whole fight. And it's a 1v3 that is a little bit impossible. And yeah, I mean, sometimes playing passive does do that to you, You poke out a little bit, and yeah, the Rev Totem was just ready for that.
It's such a beautiful combination. We've spoken about it a little bit before. That Octane Revenant, it comes in clutch so many times. It's so powerful. Now, Mayo Addicts actually in a bit of a standstill here, looking to take quite a bit of damage right now. The shields are busy popping off as they're getting ready to try and reset for this fight. LTT also quite close to this exactly. Oh, those nades from every which way and corner. Gold down completely, actually knocked out, and now the recovery has to happen. LTT looking to push them through this. We might be seeing Mayo Addicts going out quite soon. It's all down to K9 right now, who has to recover the situation for his team. LTT, they're still completely healthy. All 3 members up and accounted for. And Elite Gaming now joining the party as well. Mayo Addicts caught in between a rock and a hard place between Mayo Addicts, Elite Gaming, and LTT. The action is going down, and now we can see Mayo Addicts K9. He's actually made it out, so LTT are going to be taking the fight instead to OGC. Ooh, this is just happening so quick.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess they're called Mayo Addicts because they're, stuck between a sandwich. But all jokes aside, K9 manages to get away up at the top of the mountain. Maybe looking for a banner recovery, but I don't think it's going to be worth it. He's just going to have to rotate in and play this one as a solo. So we've got our first solo in the game here. PunX on the opposite end here. Maybe here those fights that are breaking loose down in the valley. They have managed to take out a few people on their rotate. MaFisi, though, playing on the edge of the zone, not really looking to get involved into too many fights. It does seem PunX have snuffed somebody out at the top of the cage. Maybe looking to get into this. This is MaFisi actually on the opposite side taking shots at PunX. PunX obviously unaware that it's a duo, might be a little bit hesitant to take this fight, so they're just going to look to rotate towards the zone. Zone is closing in, third zone's about to clock in now. And we'll see exactly where that's going to pull, and this is going to really determine how most of these teams are going to play. And Esmeri, 14 squads still in this one, you know. I want to say that as much as we've had a very fast-paced game so far, I think a lot of teams are holding their ground. We are seeing a little bit of a more, we got to win this game type, you know, play style from the lobby, not so much doubly keying. And PunX, though, still on the aggressive side, trying to take out this fight as they walk their way towards the next zone.
Oh, more sandwiches happening here. Third parties galore. And it's actually LTT looking for the third party as PunX are busy taking those fights. And yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. I mean, a lot of these teams understand that this is the finals. You know, placement points, even if you can't get, you know, rack up as many kill points as you normally would with your trio. If you're one man... Oh, talking about one man, truly the last player now for DNMK left. And we were wondering, you know, who's PunX busy fighting? Oh my goodness gracious, what is happening here? So we've had a lot of teams actually just have to focus on placements now. And as you were saying it, we have 13 squads left. We're going to the third zone right now. So yeah, a lot of the teams have decided, look, I can't really go for those kill points as a single, you know, player for my team, but I can at least get us those placements. I can at least focus on the points game because we still got 7 maps ahead of us for this weekend. This is just the first one. So a lot of these teams have to think about, you know, the long game here. And underrated, a team that we keep talking about, and we know that they are capable, looking to have already a couple of points in their favor, a couple of kills their way. ATK looking for that dead totem clutch coming in here. You can see Vaya's going to be trying to hold them off right now. So an ATK and Elite Gaming matchup is already underway.
Yeah, and ATK is trying to be aggressive here because they were able to get a knock onto Vayas from far, but the Rev Totem push was a little bit unsuccessful, so I'm pretty sure ATK doesn't want to really aggress this anymore. I mean, considering they don't have that second chance at life. EGSA holding a really good position on the edge of the zone here. They've got control of the high ground, so they can really spot out what's happening in the valley. And ATK just gonna calm down and just, you know, adjust to the playstyle of the lobby, taking things slowly, which I think is probably what happened to DNMK, not taking things slowly. I think DNMK might have just been a bit aggressive in their rotates and maybe rotated into one too many teams, and it ended up going down. Luckily, Truly still is in this one and can still clutch things up. Revert Caustic still in this affair as well, so they're doing well for themselves. Center zone as well, so they'll just be covering this position. I'm not too sure there's a cage team. That cage team is there. Revert Caustic does need to be a little bit careful, but there is a lot of teams in the valley here. And LTT now taking a little bit of a fight. The ulti comes down from Bangalore. They need to get down out of this situation.
Ooh, yeah, you don't want to be caught in the middle of that talking about it. ATK exactly doing that. And now that zone coming in, the heals need to pop off. The streaker down to 1. Oh, whoa! As I say that, we talked about it. PunX and Elite coming in to take out ATK right now. We're down to 9 squads, below that 10 squad marker, and we've got quite an interesting lineup of teams looking for the top spot right now.
Yeah, I think ATK just in a really tough position there. You know, they were in the middle of the valley, teams around them. I mean, even PunX ended up going down in that same situation. After that bombardment, the Bangalore ulti that came down, it just went south. They were all stunned in the building and they were just getting shot at. And now, truly, the solo still in this one, still getting placement points for his team. He's going to have to try play this one carefully. The zone is ending on a choke, so this is going to be a little bit interesting to see how these teams play things out. Underrated making the rotation now in from Repulsor and Hydro Dam. They're just going to wait it out. They are sending a couple of scans through to see what is happening. Elite have done so well today as well. You know, they've just been hugging edge of the zone, doing their job. They've been playing the Rev Totem really well, as you know, and getting the scans. And this might be tough to call. I mean, look, underrated, blind peekers, EGSA still in this one. It's tough to call a favorite in this, but I think maybe considering EGSA's position and just how much information they have on the zone, I think they might be in a favorable position to win this game.
I mean, they've been popping off. They want this W just as much as anyone else in this lobby right now. And I'm just loving the fact that we're seeing so much competition. I mean, a couple teams, like you said, unfortunately being very unlucky, finding themselves in sandwiches, finding themselves in chokeholds, finding themselves trying to recover in a building that's literally getting covered by the zone and bombardments. It's a tough time, but it is what it is with the battle royales coming through. A lot of these teams really either have been having such good luck with the loot, or they've been doing so much damage, because I'm just seeing purple shields for days, which is great to see. These teams are really, really putting in the work right now, and we might really be having an interesting last zone here. Like you said, it's ending on a choke. It's going to be interesting. Oh, and now underrated, this team that we've been hyping up. Now they're looking for the fights. Bangalore coming through, and as Royal Esports now on the fight in the sandwich of a lifetime, down to one player, underrated, looking to take them out of this right now as they take one down as well. That Wraith's trying to get out of their action. Cheetah Boy, oh no! They go down! And Blind Peekers are here. Gutbuster, unfortunately, with the DC, so Blind Peekers down to 2 members, just trying to keep the Gibby alive for the reconnect. And it's just chaos as we head into the top 5 squads.
Yeah, absolutely chaotic situation that was happening there in that chokehold. So many teams are trying to funnel in, and then that defensive bombardment just destroyed everybody. Revert Caustic now on the high ground, and they've spotted somebody out here, and that somebody is Artrilli, who can't hide any much longer. Artrilli needs to make a play to get into this next zone, but Revert Caustic is not going to let him get there for free. It does look like Cinder's going to go for the aggressive side and go for this fight. Hopefully this 1v1 goes in the favor of Cinder. If he does take it, it'll be a little bit awkward if he gets knocked at the bottom here. Yes, Cinder now taking some shots out at Artrilli. This 1v1 is going to be a little bit hectic. Cinder does a little bit of damage, but Artrilli turns around with the flatline and does just the same amount. So now Cinder needs to be careful, but he's fine. His team is covering him from the top. They really need to deal with this man's really fast. Artrilli down to little HP, Eva 8 in hand. Gonna try go for the Phoenix Kid play here. Is this gonna be it? No, Revert Caustic is not today, and they're gonna just rush in and take Artrilli out. So now we're down to 3 squads. EGSA though are coming out from the bottom, from hell, literally, to come and grief Revert Caustic. We're now in the middle of both teams here, Blind Peekers and EGSA, so now Revert Caustic need to be really, really careful in how they play these next fights, but it does seem that the Rev push from EGSA was a little bit unsuccessful, so everything's gonna calm down for this final zone.
Oh, our top 3 are here. We were waiting for it. Is the streamer team going to be taking their first dub, or will it going to be Blind Peekers and Elite Gaming? EGSA. Oh, this is going to be an interesting one now. The zone actually just ending outside of that little tunnel there, so it gives a couple of teams a little bit more, breathing room to work with here. But as you said, it's going to calm down. They're all going to take their time to just assess the situation and get ready for this final fight. Who's going to be taking who first? Who's going to be looking for the third party right now? It looks like Revert Caustic are taking a couple of shots. Haven't connected anything just yet. Blind Peekers here just outside of that tunnel, looking for the exact same opportunities here. Twitty trying to find something, but those shots aren't connecting, and here comes the bombardment. Might be a little bit early, might be throwing that down, just trying to give themselves a little bit of space, but not going to be connecting anything just yet. So far, all 3 teams still looking quite healthy, still quite happy to take this final fight. It's just a bit of a waiting game right now, right? So, I mean, every single team in the situation is looking for that third party. They're looking for the easiest fight to be able to take it and be able to take the W. But so far, all 3 teams, they're playing the exact same game. So it's just a waiting game.
Yeah, and it really just comes down to where the final zone position is, and looking at how the zone is going to be pulling, it's actually favoring EGSA in a sense, because Revert Caustic is going to have to drop down, Blind Peekers is going to have to funnel in through that chokehold, and essentially everyone is going to have to drop on top of EGSA, which might be a bad thing, because if they're not ready for the fight, then they're just going to get rolled through. So it's just a waiting game, and what's really is the play here is an opening, and that's what all these teams are looking for, an entry frag that can give them a little bit of ground, a little bit of positioning, but there's not much room to work with here, Esmeri, as the zone is about to close in 15 seconds.
Yeah, they're all just looking for a little something, and it's just not giving it. No one is giving any sort of free kills away. But Gutbuster is going to be finding Cinder live, so that's 1 team down. That might be the opening that we're talking about, and unfortunately for the streamer team, it might be the opening onto them. Gutbuster getting close and personal, but is going to have to fall back because his team's not with him. He's got the Kraber, only 2 shots left, however, but he's done good with 1. I think the rest should have popped off for the Revert Caustic team. However, where is that leaving the rest of them? Gutbuster, he's only got 2 shots in that gun, so he's going to have to completely just focus on a primary. And when this fight does eventually break out, which the zone is trying to push it towards, that might be a difficult situation for them. We'll see how it plays out. You can see here Revert Caustic making the move right now and going to be just absolutely beamed by Aquatic. One goes down, the second comes through in the form of Elite Gaming with the Spitfire. I think only one member remaining for the Revert Caustic team, and he goes down. So down to our two squads. It's Elite Gaming, it's Blind Peekers, it's the Shelby boys going up against EGSA. Who's it going to be right now? The wingman shots coming through, 20 taking down Majin, and now Elite Gaming down to 2. Blind Peekers looking good as they take another. Elite Gaming down to 1, and it's going to be Vias. The John Wick coming in. He has to make a play here. A lot of low HP, but I think it might be it. Blind Peekers are your first champions for the day. First day of finals. And man, oh man, what a game.
Wow. I'm surprised Blind Peekers was able to win that one out considering the position, and honestly I think the Kraber was actually really crucial in that situation, because what the Kraber did to Revert Caustic was shake them up just a tiny little bit, and sometimes that's actually what you need. It's not always about getting the kill, sometimes it's just about shaking up the squad. They then have to use their utility, you know, they have to throw down the dome, get the res on top of Cinder, and now they don't have that dome as extra cover, and then what ends up happening is as they're making their rotate, they start to get beamed by Blind Peekers. At that moment, EGSA thinks here's our opportunity, but little do they know Blind Peekers is ready with the high ground to take up this fight, and their totem push just goes haywire and nothing works out in their way. EGSA in a really good position to win that one, but at the end of the day, I think the gun skill, we have to reward it to Blind Peekers.
Yo, I said it was going to be raining bullets, and it was raining bombardments and caustics, and everything was just going on in that game. And I'm super excited to see the tactics that was employed in that last battle. There was a lot of calculations that was going into from different teams onto the best plays to make, and obviously Blind Peekers came on top. I'm super excited to see Revert Caustic actually be in the top 3. Now let's take a look at our champions for the first game in the grand final, day 1 of the Apex Legends African Throwdown. It is Blind Peekers coming through and showcasing that talent that we've known that they've always had from the beginning of this tournament. Now, Esme, who do you think is going to be the MVP of this first game?
Ooh, Blind Peekers. I mean, having 20 making his debut, it would be awesome to see him going through with it. Gutbuster did a lot of damage there with that Kraber, just going absolutely crazy. But I think Aquatic, he has been from the beginning putting in a lot of damage. I've been seeing his name quite a lot. And ooh, Gutbuster. The man, the
kills.
IGL, the captain coming in clutch, Mr. Thomas Shelby himself. Man, well played.
This probably has to be the lowest kill count for an MVP in a match since we started this tournament.
Not like this.
No, I'm serious. It literally, I mean, we've seen 7 kills, 10 kills, you know what I'm saying, 8 kills. This probably has been the lowest kill count for an MVP, which just goes to show the level of intensity at the finals. I just can't wait to see what the standings are. And it's obvious, guys, when we said we were going to bring you the best of the best, we don't play around. I'm dressed for the weather. My people are dressed for the weather. It's red, blue, and yellow, and it's going down in the Apex Legends African Throwdown. My name is Dr. Sid. I'm here with Tendo Plays and Esmery, and we're going to be looking at the standings of the first game, after the first game in the grand final day 1 when we come back after this break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. If you had fun in the first match watching that, you have no idea what is going to happen in the second match because we have no idea what's going to happen in the second match because we had ideas of what was going to happen in the first and it just went all through the window. DNMK out the window, ATK out the window, and we have some brand new people coming through in the top 3 position. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Apex Legends African Throwdown, brought to you by NODWIN Gaming. You are here with myself, Dr. Sid, Dendo, and Esmery. Very quickly, I want us to not waste any time. Let's go into the standings after the first game. Woo! Dendo, what we got to say about this?
Yeah, I mean, no surprise to see Blind Peaker sitting right there with 34 points, 14 kills. They did really good that game, you know. I mean, we didn't see like a crazy battlefield in terms of one team racking up kills, but it does look like Blind Peakers were able to clean up a lot of the lobby. EGSA coming in second place there with 21 points, doing well for themselves. They got that, you know, good rotation, that a good position in the zone. Revert, Caustic, this is really good from them, honestly. Starting off the day, sitting at third place, I think that's the confidence that the boys need to, you know, bring it in. DNMK, we saw Atrili by himself managed to, you know, secure fourth place for the team, so that's really good to see. PunX as well didn't do too bad, especially since they came out a little bit early around about that same time with that big fight with ATK. But the top 10, no surprise to me. Would love to see maybe Mayo Addicts pushed up to the top. OGC there sitting at 17th should probably, you know, work their way up. Hopefully they don't run into ATK in their next fight. But besides that, the table's looking clean.
And you know, right now, looking at the tables, it's not certain for anyone because literally anybody putting up a good game in in the rest of the match can literally push up into that top 4 spot and have an opportunity to get one of our amazing prizes. Now, I'm looking at that table, and I was thinking about Royal Esports 1 and 2. So we got Royal Esports 2 in the top 10 and Royal Esports 1 in the bottom 10, and I'm like, it would be nice to see like a 2-player team in the top 10 or vying for that top spot. But then also looking at ATK in 7th position, that's like weird for me. That's like, I didn't really get it. Like, so Esmery, like, tell me, like, people like Mayo Addicts and Lag who came through heavy and Royal Esports 1, what do they need to sort of come make it into a top 10 or at least a top 4 space?
Look, we had a lot of sandwiches, we had a lot of contention, we had a lot of 50-50s, we had a lot of third partying coming through, of course. And Lag, you know, Royal Esports 1, I think as well, Mayo Addicts especially, they got caught into the middle of a lot of situations they obviously did not want to be in. And that comes in with, honestly, RNG, the luck of the game, how it happens, but also the choice of your rotations. So unfortunately, rotation choices were made, you know, with not as much information as they really needed. It is the luck of the draw, you know, when you're filtering into the zone. Sometimes you're going to run into the likes of ATK. Sometimes you're going to run into the likes of Elite on one side, LTT on the other side, looking to take you out. So it's what happens. It's a battle royale at the end of the day, and especially on Kings Canyon with so many choke points. It is what it is.
And this is what we expect because we've thinned out the herd. And right now in this lobby of 20 teams are the best of the best. The top teams from all the different groups that we have colliding in one amazing group with amazing battles. But up next, we're moving to a map that has shown and has proven to be able to cause people to switch up their playstyles. It is Olympus. Dendo, Olympus, talk to us about what we're expecting from the teams in this map. You know, you said they were going to be slow-paced, but it was kind of different. It started slow, then it slowed down, then it picked up again. What might we see on Olympus in this second game?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to see a similar game to the Kings Canyon where we're going to see a couple of contestants and teams trying to establish, you know, their position and where they're going to be dominating in terms of area and rotations. So I think we're going to see action off the bat here, Dr. Sid. There's no one is going to sit back too much until I think just after the looting phase. So during the looting phase, I think we might see a couple of those fights, but just after the looting phase is maybe when we'll start to see and establish where everybody's rotation is and how the teams have settled in to the lobby on, you know, Olympus. And yeah, man, Olympus, close POIs and, you know, third parties always looming. So teams really just need to be really aware of, you know, their back and their surroundings and where all the teams are. So information is going to be a really, really, really big factor in this game. So Bloodhound is going to be big for this one, I think.
Interesting. Let's see how many Bloodhounds we see in the second game on Olympus. This is the Apex Legends African Throwdown brought to you by NODWIN Gaming. I need to remind everyone right now that you need to follow NODWIN Gaming on all our socials and get some information. Right now, we're doing this. If you are watching the Apex Legends Grand Final Day 1 right now, make sure you take a picture of yourself watching the tournament and tag NODWIN Gaming Africa on all our socials, and we will feature you on our profiles now, on all our social media profiles. This is going to be happening all weekend. We want to give a shout out to the fans who are watching and supporting this tournament on the African continent right now. My name is Dr. Sid. I'm going to be stepping back and leaving you in the very capable hands of Esmery and Thendo, who are going to be walking you through the step-by-step, play-by-play action at the Apex Legends African Throwdown Grand Final Day 1. This is match number 2.
Thendo, we're here. Olympus is here.
Yeah, it is Olympus a time. It is a game 2. And yeah, game 2 is where we're going to see teams like ATK and DNMK who had a bad game 1 start to pop up and show up in these lobbies, I think, you know. I wouldn't be surprised if ATK and or DNMK ends up winning this game. But let's not count out the rest of the lobby. I'm really impressed with, you know, the level of competitiveness in today's lobby. I mean, Blind Peekers coming up on top just goes to show that it's really anybody's game. I mean, underrated if they weren't caught in that position where Blind Peekers just funneled them out. I mean, they might have been in that end game opposed to Blind Peekers. You know, they were playing the rotations really well. I think PunX were taking up a lot of fights and they were winning a lot of their fights, which was something which was really impressive from them. And they really dominated that crash side area. So look, we'll see what area is going to be really, you know, the hotspot in this one, because I think that's what we're looking for. And once we get there, we'll see what teams are in that hotspot.
Exactly that, and it is just, it's such a beautiful thing to see how competitive this finals group is. We've been waiting for it, we've been filtering them out, and now we're down to our top 20, and they are not disappointing by any means necessary. I mean, just absolutely kudos to all of you guys. You guys are playing like absolute beasts, and I'm liking the Olympus change up. Honestly, it does bring a little bit of action, a little bit of chaos, a little bit of craziness into the pool, which with a group like this finals group that we've seen, I mean, the chaos that we had on Kings Canyon, whether or not that's going to happen again, or whether teams are going to switch it up to try and, you know, give themselves a little bit of space, give themselves a little bit of breathing room in that looting phase so that, you know, those fights can be a little bit more to their liking and to their favor. It was interesting how, you know, ATK, we spoke about a little bit, how they're switching it up, how they're playing a little bit more passive, choosing, you know, taking their time with rotations, waiting for teams to rotate in, take them out. It's interesting whether or not that's going to happen again. I think you're right. I mean, they want to, you know, show up and prove themselves and take a couple of W's for their own.
Yeah, definitely. It's time to take W's, and game 2 is really where you have to, you know, establish yourself on that leaderboard, especially if you're sitting in our bottom 10. I'd like to see OGC have a bit of a better game this one, especially. I think Lag was also just caught out in a little bit of an unfortunate fight. Lag ended up dying to Blind Peekers, if I'm not mistaken, and Blind Peekers was our, you know, game winner. So inevitably, it's like, you know, when you're playing in a tournament where you have matchups and you eventually lose to the winner in like the first matchup, you know what I'm talking about. You're like in a round 16 in like the group stages or whatever it is, you end up losing to like Spain in the World Cup when they won it in 2010, and you're like, okay, it's not that bad actually, you know. So hopefully they can bounce back in this one, Lag, and they find themselves here at Orbital Canyon, just vibing and chilling. And yeah, hopefully they get some good loot as well. But actually, there's a bit of a fight breaking loose here, Esmery.
Ooh, already spotting some players. And again, a reenactment of Kings Canyon and the vault coming in. Savvy going to be taking out Cloudy now. And ooh, that's interesting. So, I mean, that rotation was trying to happen there, but where's the rest of the team? I think Lag might be out for blood here.
Yeah, Lag is definitely out for blood, and ATK is just out for blood as well. There's one member from MaFisi goes down, and I think that's all members of MaFisi going down, considering I think they might have loaded up again as a duo, if I'm not mistaken. No, actually, one was from Drip, and one was from MaFisi. So there's a couple of teams in this dock area. The G7 scout shot from YSO just go crazy there, and they take out Lucas. And I think ATK just gonna sit from this position, take some shots with their long range weapons, and just try to get this team out, or at least try farm as many kill points without giving up their position. Looking at the zone, they are favored a little bit in this rotation. They will be sitting on the edge of the zone. They are rocking that same composition they were using in that first game, and swapping over, it's blind peekers versus underrated here at Elysium, and it makes sense. I mean, Elysium has such good loot. It's such a heavily contested area. One member is down, and they're trying to get that finish right now. Blind peekers with the man advantage. The game winners here looking to continue their winning streak.
Oh, underrated once again, finding themselves in a situation where blind peekers are looking to take them out of the count. So, I mean, they're looking healthy and happy right now. They're still going for this aggressive play. I mean, why not? They're one member down. They should have the advantage here. They just need to get those shots in. And underrated right now, desperately trying to stay into this trying to stay alive in the situation. But the chaos is coming in. Underrated down to 2. Oh, the knock's coming in, and that might be it. Oh, blind peekers starting it out strong once again. And once again, unfortunately, underrated is finding themselves in a situation that we don't want them to be seen.
Can you believe Blind Peekers is an unsigned South African org, Esmery?
I don't understand.
Look, I really don't understand. I mean, you can just see how, you know, coordinated they are, how ready they are to take this one today. And I think, you know, I wouldn't be surprised. They're going to be in our top 5 for sure if they keep playing like this. But tuning over to DNMK, Bonsai Plaza is where they find themselves, and that's exactly where they've been landing the entirety of this tournament, uncontested as well. So they're going to make their rotate towards Solar, if I'm not mistaken, towards this area. And I don't think there's too many fights breaking loose. ATK just holding ground, and ATK's play style today, Esmery, I think you can also just agree with me, has shifted completely. They went from being this pub stomp team that just ran at everybody to just calming things down right now, and they're just trying to get loot, get the rotations. They're playing more like how they would play in, like, you know, a GLL or an ALGS.
No, they're taking their time. They're taking all the time they need to make those decisions as strategically as they can, and we'll see if it's going to be paying off for them. We did see them, you know, fall to that 7th place on Kings Canyon, but that's also to do with like a lot of RNG where they were finding themselves, and we saw a lot of teams finding themselves in unfavorable positions, which just seemed to be the flavor of the day for Kings Canyon on that first map. But yeah, I want to go back to what you were saying, you know, the fact that we've got teams like Blind Peekers, we've got a lot of teams like Mayo, Addicts, etc. who are not signed, and I mean, the best kind of guys looking at CRC right now. The Charge Rifle Charlie is finding themselves in a situation they don't want to be in, and of course, it's LTT coming in to give them the surprise of the day. As it goes through, they get the res off. OGC now in a position they don't want to be. Down to 1 member remaining, 2 banners to be recovered. And ATK looking, and DNMK actually just looking great right now, getting those kills up, getting the loot farmed. And we might be seeing a lot of teams going out early. 17 teams remaining, and Clutch now your kill leader currently. I do see, you know, this sort of interesting playstyle differences that we've seen from, you know, the semifinals up to now. DNMK, though, they're still looking the same. I mean, they're still happy to take those fights. They're still happy to jump in there, get the loot farm, getting all the kills that they need to. And it's that confidence coming through. It's, you know, knowing that they know how to play this game the way they've been playing it, and they haven't really been changing their playstyles to accommodate everyone else. They've just been keeping to their game.
Yeah, I mean, even if you watch DNMK in GLL and LGS, they are a pretty aggressive team, and they do like to, you know, take gunfights, and it makes sense. I mean, you've got the likes of Clutch, who's just mechanically gifted, as well as Tenchi, and with the IGLing of our Trilly, they've got things unlocked. And speaking of things unlocked, it seems like someone should lock this door before Cooper comes in with this Mastiff, but luckily everybody's out, and there's a bit of a fight breaking loose here between Mayo, Addicts, and PunX, and there's just a lot of these top clashes that are happening in the lobby. I mean, I want to look back at OGC, man. They just seem to be on the opposite side of the rotates in terms of finding like an easy opponent to go up against. If there is an easy opponent in this lobby, they go up against ATK in the first game, DNMK in the second game. So OGC morale might be down, but they really need to just, you know, keep their heads up and then bounce back in this one. Hopefully PunX can win this fight out, or at least get a rotation out from this area, because Mayo Addicts, we know how Mayo Addicts can be. They can run at them. They do need to be careful here. Cooper taking a couple shots at the anvil, not doing too much damage, and maybe Mayo Addicts also might just de-aggress from this one and just play this one safe.
Might be in the case. I mean, 17 squads left. We have seen quite a bit of aggression starting off already, and I mean, the teams are still not stopping. We still got teams looking for those gunfights, and yeah, I mean, rotations have been pretty rough for a lot of these teams. And now on Olympus, a map that is just known to put teams in uncomfortable situations and to really test their metal. Now DNMK finding a couple of shots heading their way. Tenchi taking so much damage right now. Just calm down. The bullets are flying. Dr. Sid's got his raincoat on for a reason. As they try and take a little bit of time to recover. Elite Gaming now taking out a team, it looks like. I mean, they're doing so much damage. They've taken one down, looking for the rest. They've also been popping off quite a bit now. Tenchi down officially. That bombardment going to give them a little bit of space. But look at the bullets. It's just, oh, the chaos is happening right now. And Ultruly once again has to rotate around, has to hopefully try and keep up.
Yeah, and that's DNMK versus Lag right now. I saw Savvy in the kill feed, and I don't know what's happening on DNMK side today. Things just seem a little bit, like the bag is getting fumbled. I mean, Ultruly seems to have taken the phase runner onto the opposite side of the map. Tenchi was knocked down, not to show where Clutch is in this moment. So DNMK right now in shambles, as it seems. EGSA have done well to hold their position. Yeah, look at this. Clutch is on one side of the map, actually. No, I think they're together, actually. I think they managed to get into the phase runner together, but they're deep in the zone now. They were able to get the banner of Tenchi, so look, DNMK can recover from this position. It's going to be a bit of a hard recovery for them from the zone. They're going to be strapped from meds and strapped from positioning. But yeah, they did well to get out of there, and Lag, very angry that they went out in that first game. They're here to play this one. They got to make a bit of a big rotation to get into this next zone. Tuning back into EGSA, and now Viaji with the R31 just doing so much damage. And I mean, this man's is always on it with those R301 sprays every time we tune into him, and that's one of his favorite weapons to use, and you can just see why. He's just able to output so much damage for the team, and they're just going to hold the carrier position here, edge of the zone, and just calm things down.
I mean, we call him John Wick for a reason, right? That 301 is just such a beautiful gun to be going for with the beams. DNMK now making the rotation. Tenchi's actually back in it. So they've made it back to that 3-man status, which is fantastic going into the rest of this. We've got 15 squads left. 15 squads all hungry and waiting for that W. They're looking to grab it out of the hands of their opponent right now. Mayo Addicts still healthy and happy right now, actually looking for a bit of a fight here. Might have heard a couple of footsteps there. That information is their ATK now as well. On top of it, as they go down, looking to take out Belt 4 is not. PunX looking in a bit of trouble right now. Only one member remaining as far as I can see, and that's going to be it for PunX. They go down in 15th place. Some bullets still flying in, so ATK aren't out of it just yet. They still got to make quite a bigger fight to get out of this rotation safely and soundly.
Yeah, and EGSA should be on that side because we saw them in carry, and I'm sure they've heard those fights. I wonder if they'll maybe pop a totem down and see what they can fish from ATK. PunX, yeah, I mean, PunX was in Solar, and they were in that fight between Mayo Addicts, and I think they just had to look for some loot. I'm sure they expended a little bit of their resources, and they end up rotating onto ATK, which is a little bit unfortunate, but we tune into Royal Esports 1.
Oh, no!
Who seem to be one of the teams to go down, unfortunately, to Krokkenosters, who are camping the top of Hammond Labs here, doing well to hold their position. Revert Caustic still in this one as well, doing really well for themselves. They've managed to clean up a couple of points. They are in a bit of a vulnerable position here in Hammond Labs, especially with Krokkenosters on top here, taking a couple of shots at them. They do have a little bit of cover to work with here, as the team is going to regroup on a top here. And 13 squads left. A lot of fights have been breaking loose here on the map so far. A lot of, top heavy clashes. A little bit unfortunate to actually see the likes of like Underrated who went out so early, but look, next zone is closing in. Teams have to make the rotation here, so Revert Caustic, Krokkenosters on the same side of the rotate here. They're gonna have to fight each other to some degree. Maybe they'll be able to. Oh, DNMK is actually in the same area as well, so 3 teams making the rotate here, going towards the north side of the map, and they gotta be really careful because if they get choked out, this is gonna be a really big zone fight.
And of course, I mean, Tenchi, he's just been spawned in, so he's low on consumables right now. Revert Caustic actually going in for the fight. We've got one down. Cinder's down, and Krokkenosters are looking to finish them off. Cinder's out of the count, but where are the rest of the Revert Caustic team? Daddy Cool and the Caramel Gamer looking to try and keep themselves in this. Caramel goes down. It's only one member remaining for Revert. Caustic. Same can be said for Krokkenosters, but Krokkenosters are going to clutch it out, and we are down to our 12 squads. The streamer team, unfortunately, not making a higher placement this time around, but man, what a fight. And in the thick of it, in the craziness that went down, DNMK have actually managed to rotate out. And I mean, they were low on consumables, so I thought, you know, if they were getting in a fight right now, that would have been it for them. I mean, no heals, no shields, what it looks like. That's a difficult situation, but now they've had the chance to actually just find the gap, get out of there, and man, Revert Caustic, Tendo, no, what happened?
Yeah, look, there were 3 teams in the area. Luckily, DNMK decided that, yeah, our resources are a little bit low. We're gonna have to just rotate into the zone. So Krokkenosters and Revert Caustic end up fighting each other. The entry of Cinder was all Krokkenosters needed from that high ground position to win the fight. But speaking of fights, DNMK's in the fight. Artillery goes down in the open. The dome is popped. They have to restabilize in this position. Clutch trying to hold things down. They're up against lag. It's just Savvy left. Clutch jumps on with the wingman, manages to take him out. So now it's DNMK 1, lag 0. And after they fought each other earlier on, this is a little bit of revenge for DNMK. And I'm sure they're feeling good about that fight. So now DNMK get all the resources they need. Whoa, someone goes down there. What happened? Not too sure. But EGSA now taking a fight up in the carrier. Vyaz goes down. Things are popping off here. The team needs to stabilize and get things back together. They do get Artillery up here at DNMK, and it does seem like they're being spotted out by a team on the opposite end. And DNMK in a really rough spot, Esberry, because they have to make this rotate. But someone's on top of them. Krokkenosters is here to ruin the day, coming from behind, managed to take Tenchi out. So now it's Clutch and Artillery left in this one.
Oh, Krokkenosters looking to rain down Supreme once again. No, Tenchi's down. The Gibby man is out for the count. And now DNMK, they have to try and recover the situation. The spray comes through. All truly manages to do it. And I think that's actually Krokkenosters out for the count. So now DNMK, somehow, some way, again, they have survived. I mean, they've been under stress from the get-go, basically. EGSA as well, in a situation they don't want to be finding themselves. Vyaz is out of the count. Our John Wick is out. His banner needs to be recovered. Elite Gaming need to recover the situation as well. And it's all going to be imagined. This has to rotate around. Might have to just look at the rat game right now, because, I mean, going now for that banner, going to try and get the res, I don't see this happening.
The most unfortunate of scenes as Jazz disconnects in that situation. Vyaz down. They have to clutch things up. They were actually, you know, in a 2v2 as well. So I think that disconnect actually throws them the entire game. And that's just a little bit unfortunate. Lucky for ATK though. ATK have not really been looking that good today. In my opinion, I've seen a better ATK. They're doing well. Obviously, they're still top 8. But they could definitely, you know, clean up a little bit of their gunfights. But I think the boys are just warming up and getting into it. I wouldn't be surprised to see them win one of today's games though. But DNMK, even though it's just the 2 of them, they're not getting the gas pedal off of this one. Clutch coming in, taking out one member of that team. They're going to be able to knock them out. They're taking out a little bit of smoke, but it's Mayo Addicts on the opposite side here. The ulti is popped as well. The nades are starting to get thrown in. The ulti doesn't trap anybody, so now it's Clutch and Artillery. We're trying to take this fight. Mayo Addicts have all the angles for this one, but Cooper ends up going down to Clutch's wingman, which is insane, and we know that. And look at that, he's doing so much damage from so far, and he hasn't taken a lot of damage as well, Clutch. He's going to be able to pop a bat. Artillery in a position to stabilize as well for the team. They are now in a 2v2. A little bit of an advantage as well on the HP side, as Mayo Addicts haven't really healed up as much as them. Mayo Addicts just trying to pinch a couple of angles, but to no avail, and it's a little bit of a stalemate right now between the 2 teams here, Esmery.
Yeah, and they're going to have to get out of the situation early enough, because that zone will be coming in eventually, forcing the issue now is the Truly as he heads in. He's beaming here with the R301. The EVA 8 comes out, and Mayo are out for the count. As I say that, top 6 here we are.
Damn, they just went in for that fight, and it was just so well coordinated. One on the opposite side, you know, of that push. They didn't really have angles to shoot from Mayo Addicts as they were making that push, and as soon as they were in, it was just a wrap for them. And look at this, Outlaws is in the game. Dr. Sid must be going crazy right now in the background. You'd love to see Outlaws in this one, hanging around, and they have a Kraber on them, and we know how dangerous the Kraber can be. We saw the Kraber ruin the Revert Caustic game after Cinder got sniped. Now ATK in our top 6 as well, doing so well. But Blind Peekers is right now in front of ATK, and ATK is on the hunt down. This might be a really big fight to break out over here. ATK taking a couple of shots as the team jumps over to the opposite end here to hold the zone, and Blind Peekers are doing so well to get their rotates in, because now they've got a really good position for this end game. They've also got snipers so they can gather as much information as they can, but ATK have snuffed them out, and ATK know that they want that position as well. Not too sure if ATK will go for that, but it looks like Blind Peekers is actually going to go for the high ground rather than the position they were in.
Sneaky. I mean, it's quite risky to take that jump pad rotation, obviously, especially with the likes of ATK and Dust Tweaker. You know, he can just track you there. It's such an easy track. I mean, you know where they're going. But they're making the jumps here, and I think you're right. I mean, the rotations that are happening right now are going to be crucial when we get to our end game. As we know, time and time again, teams have fallen victim to their choice of rotations. But now ATK, Blind Peekers, they're happy. They've got the cover right now, getting a couple of shots here, which by none other than Blind Peekers, of course, making their move. 20 actually taking quite a bit of damage there. He's going to have to pop the battery here as they take on. Who are they taking on right now? That's the question. Blind Peekers in a position. Horizon goes up by the looks of it, and Outlaws actually coming in now. Might be. Are we seeing an Outlaws Blind Peekers coming out here? Oh no, we're seeing an Outlaws and DNMK happening right now. It's all down to Clutch and Ultruly barely 1 HP right now. But they're making it work. Mayo Addicts down to 1 member, looking to fall victim to DNMK. It's going to be the Kraber. It's going to be in the hands of Xander that has to make it happen here if he wants Outlaws to get a better placement. They're going to have a little bit of time right now to get those mids off. Ultruly is going to be happy to get off of that 1 HP platform right now, but we're still to top 5, and here comes in Xander, not looking to slow down at all. So Outlaws unfortunately out, and we are down to our top 4.
Somehow DNMK res Tenchi. Unfortunately, he goes down. I know Tenchi's angry this game, so next game we're gonna see a different Tenchi. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, Blind Peekers still holding a good position. DNMK managed to. DNMK is literally playing the resurrection game at this point. It's like everything they're doing at this point seems like a movie that the at the bottom of the barrel trying to make it happen, and they just everything's going their way for some reason. But yeah, they still got formidable opponents in front of them. ATK, Blind Peekers still in this one. We got these 4 squads in this one. Blind Peekers actually being a little bit aggressive here and taking up this position that ATK was on top of, because ATK seems to have moved up a little bit, and now Blind Peekers doing a little bit of damage onto ATK. Waiso has to fall inside. They do have that death totem, ATK, if they want to get a little bit aggressive. The Arcstar, though, does a tiny little bit of damage, but not too much to really deter the team. That has to be the team of DNMK trying to rotate in. They're in a really tough spot to get into this one, but somehow they're still in this one. They still have a place to play right at the bottom here. The team is doing so much right now. DNMK really want to win this game, even though they're at a man advantage. Blind Peekers taking some damage onto ATK on the opposite side. Someone's in the air, jumping his Mushin from EGSA. He's done well to make it up here, and now it's 3 teams left. A duo of DNMK, ATK, and Blind Peekers as Marine.
Oh, we were saying DNMK and ATK looking to take a W, and now they're going to have to take one away from our previous game champions. So Blind Peekers are really going to be put to the metal here. They're really going to be put to the test. It's ATK, it's DNMK, it's Blind Peekers. It's 3 of your favorites right now, going head to head. Who's going to be taking that W? And once again, we have that stalemate as it is in our top 3. We've got 3 teams, different positions. They've got space. They've got time to work with. The only thing they need to be worrying about is that zone, which will be coming through in 50 seconds. DNMK, the duo, the resurrection duo, the recovery duo, the duo that's been surviving through how many team fights, somehow, someway still in this, looking to take that W as well. ATK and Blind Peekers, of course, they've got the man advantage. They've got all 3 of their players in those teams respectively. And what's interesting to me is, you know, the guns that we're seeing running. We've got Blind Peekers there with the Prowler. We saw a couple of Krabers going through. Whether or not that was recovered, we'll have to wait and see. But it's the stalemate. Thendo, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's a bit of a stalemate right now, as no team is trying to give each other too much. But yeah, look, my analysis of this position, ATK is in a rough spot because they're gonna have to rotate before everybody else. Blind Peakers obviously has the high ground over them, but ATK now know they have to do that, so they're gonna try to look for an alternative route to get into the zone. They're gonna actually take the jump pad in here, and they're absolutely sending it on top of DNMK. I think might be below that, or is DNMK just below Blind Peakers? But the zone is making its close right now. ATK is gonna be holding that building. Blind Peakers just on top of them. The opposite side does have a bit of an entry for them. DNMK is still holding things at the bottom, and the zone is a little bit in favor of DNMK, considering they're right in the center, so they might be able to just climb on top as ATK and Blind Peakers have this fight. But things are stabilizing just so a tiny little bit.
Oh my goodness, we've got ATK on top of DNMK. We've got blind peakers who know exactly where ATK are. I don't know if they know where blind peakers are, where DNMK are. It's just chaos. They're going to be right on top of each other all the time. And I mean, with that zone coming in, DNMK might be left to their own devices there in the underside. So we actually might see how this plans out. Oh, that bombardment coming through, though. That has to do a lot of damage now to to ATK, actually. And they have to fall down to DNMK now taking the fight. We've got one down. We've got DNMK down to, I believe it's all truly once again, who has to clutch this out. And he has to clutch it 1v3 against the entirety of ATK. And it's a little bit too much as DNMK go down. But now Blind Peakers, they smell blood. They're looking for it, and they're looking to take it. No.
Wait. Did ATK win the fight? No, those Blind Peakers. Yo, that confused me so quickly. I was like, wait, did the crazier thing just happen? But yeah, Blind Peakers did so well this game to just, hold their ground, hold their position. Obviously, they had the high ground in that game, and as soon as ATK drops down to take out DNMK, I mean, they've pretty much sealed the deal there. And yeah, Blind Peakers coming out of the surprise 2 games in a row here. Dr. Sid, how are you feeling after watching that?
Yo, I was like, listen, those 3 guys, I had no idea who was going to come out on top. But Blind Peakers literally put in the space between them and second position. That was intense gameplay, intense planning. I mean, the octane pads were coming out. People were flying left, right, and center. I was like, what is going on here? Playing the zone. But big shout out to my boys. I know we have to give a shout out to the champions, Blind Peakers, and obviously they put in gap. But big shout out to my boys, Outlaws NG, top 5 position, making it up that ladder. I'm very impressed. But you guys did such an amazing job because it was so exciting. Shout out to the champions, Blind Peakers. Then I'm going to ask you for this round, who's going to be your MVP of the game?
Yo, man, I feel like that's a really tough decision. I feel like this Blind Peakers game that they played here, they played really well as a team. I don't really think there was an outright standout performance in this roster, but I'm gonna shoot my shot and maybe say Gutbuster again. I think maybe might have been our MVP.
And let's see, drum roll, please.
Ooh. Oh,
clutch.
Okay, I mean that makes sense. I mean, look, DNMK were at the back foot pretty much the majority of that game after that fight at the phase runner. Tenchi goes down. It's a truly clutch in a dynamic duo. All they can do is take fight after fight after fight, and they win fight after fight after fight. So honestly, shout out to Clutch for getting this MVP. I think it's really well deserved, and it was just unfortunate after ATK drops down onto DNMK. I feel like they were hoping to be the team to third party, the 2 up at the top, but that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
I'm gonna just ask very quickly, as Marie, what would you say was your highlight of this entire match too?
DNMK. DNMK just making it out of so many fights. I mean, there was time. How many team fights did they get themselves into where they were just down a member, down 2 members, maybe even, and they somehow, some way make it out against a full squad? Time and time again. I mean, they were your survivors of Olympus. They made it all the way to top 3 with basically 2. Like Tendo said, I mean, they were on the back foot for majority of that game, and they made a top 3 placement. And Clutch went and got 9 kills. That's insane.
9. Listen, I can't wait to see the standings, and I'm gonna be sure you guys can't wait to see the standings. We're gonna take a look at the standings when we come back after this break. It is still the Apex Legends African Throwdown, brought to you by NODWIN Gaming. I'm still Dr. Sid, and these are still Tendo and Esmery. We ain't changing, but we'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Apex Legends African Throwdown, brought to you by NODWIN Gaming. I'm just having a little bit of fun on Twitch, and I just threw down a challenge of my own, and I said that if the guys from Outlaws NG made it to the top 10, I was going to give them $100 myself, just for representing for West Africa. Just representing for West Africa. So it's a throwdown. The gauntlet has been thrown down. Outlaws NG, show me what you got. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. I'm back with Tendo at Esmery, and we're about to take a look at the standings of that Fire Game 2, and let's see what the standings look like in the Grand Finals Day 1. Woo! Blind Peekers, baby. Come on, Esmery. Tell us what's popping over here.
Oh my goodness gracious, Blind Peekers, you absolutely beautiful boys. I honestly, they've been playing the game, right? We were talking about it off broadcast. All that they're doing, really, especially in those top three situations, they're waiting for those two teams to take the contention. They're waiting for those teams to take the fights. And then before the team that wins out that fight can take a breather and reset for the next one, they're in there. They're taking the fights, they're taking the kills, and they are sweeping up the competition. Now, I mean, it got close there. I mean, myself and Tendo, we were very confused what was happening there. But ultimately, Blind Peekers came out on top for the second time in a row. And I mean, we've seen a couple of teams as well showing up. Obviously, DNMK, ATK, they came out clutch. Such a better, performance from them compared to their first map. I mean, all the way from 7th place for ATK to 4. DNMK, I mean, they were relatively in your top 4 already, but now they've pushed themselves up to top 3. Either way, though, I don't think anyone in this lobby is stopping anytime soon. All of them have something to prove. This is the first 2 maps of 8 to come for this weekend. We're going on to the 3rd one now, and they all are looking absolutely fire. I mean, I really do want to see a couple of these teams, though, having a better positioning than what we've seen. Obviously underrated. We've seen teams like them falling victim to rotations time and time again. So hopefully this time's a charm.
Wow. Listen, it is about to go down. The stage is set for an amazing grand final. This is the Apex Legends African Throwdown, brought to you by NODWIN Gaming. And at this point, I need to remind everybody that's watching right now, make sure you're following NODWIN Gaming Africa on all our socials right now. And if you're watching the grand finals, take a picture of yourself watching the finals, and we will share it on our IG page and show some love to you, the fans, as an appreciation for you supporting this amazing event that's putting Africa on the map. Then, though, it is game 3. We're going back to Kings Canyon. What are we expected to see now, looking at the way the tables are standing and the teams that need to move up or maintain their positions?
Yeah, I mean, look, besides Blind Peekers, surprisingly, I don't want to say they've run away with day 1 so far. I mean, look, we're going into the 3rd game. They could, get knocked out right now in the beginning, like off a contestation or off a bad rotate. So as it stands, it's still very open. I think there's still a lot of opportunities for the team, and they shouldn't be too worried about how, I want to say, top heavy the table feels right now. As you can see, the competition is very well spread out. So I think coming back onto Kings Canyon, it's time to replay that first game and remember all the mistakes that you did, what rotations didn't work, what teams you encountered along your rotates. And those are the teams that are, I think, going to perform a lot better than the teams that are kind of still not in it just yet, still shaken up a little bit. And I'm looking at like Mayo Addicts, I'm a little bit surprised to not see them in the top 10 at least, sitting at 11th place. Look, that's like, okay, Tendo, what are you saying? They're just like 1 point away from being in the top 10, but still they should be performing a little bit better given how they were performing, during the group stages. So I'd hope to see a little bit more of these teams that have the potential to win games, put themselves into positions where they can.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think a lot of the teams have had unfortunate circumstances rotating through. I mean, ultimately, we do want to see a lot of these teams like Mayo Addicts, like your Outlaws, of course, and I mean, like PunX. I mean, they also made a massive change up. They ended up in such a better position than what they were for the first couple of maps. They really got the kills up there, and I think they're doing pretty well. I'm happy to see them performing as they should, and I'm happy for a lot of these teams to really have brought up the game, but there's still a lot of Apex coming our way. They still have a long road ahead of them.
Yes, and there is a lot of Apex coming soon. This is the premium Apex Legends tournaments on the African continent, and everybody watching right now can agree we're having record turnouts of viewers all around our streaming platforms on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. If you're not watching right now, if you know somebody who isn't watching right now, you need to get them on, send them a link, share, because right now it is the hottest tournament going on the continent. This is the Apex Legends African Throwdown. We're about to go into game 3 out of 4 for the grand final day 1. My name is Dr. Sid, and I'm about to leave you in the capable hands of Esmery and Thendo, who plays and going to tell us how we're going to play for today. See you.
Yeah, we saw. Okay, Mr. Tendo, please tell me about Kings Canyon. Tell me about some of the mistakes that, a few of the teams obviously made that first time around.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I'm going to look at is these choke rotations that I think a lot of these teams are getting caught out on Kings Canyon. And I think we've seen it happen quite a little bit. I mean, that final game was pretty much a fight on top of a choke. So I'm looking at squads maybe staying clear of those places where they're going to get choked out. So I'm looking at like that cage area where we were in, there's a really big choke that leads into there. That area in containment is pretty nice and open. So if we get a little bit of fights towards rotating in that area, it wouldn't be too bad for a couple of teams. There's a lot of room to, work around and get to the designated location where you want your team to be playing for the end games. Looking at like, a lot of the fights that broke in the beginning of the game, I mean, PunX was really, really busy, and I wonder if PunX is going to be busy again in Crash Side. I mean, Spotted Lake, Esmery, we were going crazy in the beginning, where we saw like 5-6 squads going towards ATK and DNMK, and them having to hold their ground. And I wonder if that's going to happen in this game again.
I don't know. I feel like teams are just they don't want to stop today. They don't want to stop with the kill counts. These teams have been so aggressive, and it's been so interesting to see. Obviously, we've had a variety of different teams really getting split out amongst the groups, and we had a bit of your passive groups, your aggressive groups, and now they're all just together. And I feel like they've all just taken the aggressive stance here, looking for the kills, looking to get as many points as humanly possible right now. So it's fantastic to see, but yeah, I am wondering what's going to happen there towards Spotted Lake. We've already got the teams dropping in. DNMK, of course, going towards either Spotted Lake or Crash Site. We've seen them go before. Looks like they're going to fly right over that. A couple of the teams splitting out. You might see a little bit of 50-50s there towards Crash Site by the looks of it. I mean, the rest are pretty spread out this time around, but eventually those two teams are going to meet. Is it 69 and DNMK towards Spotted Lake once again? Is this happening again?
I think that's exactly what's happening, and it also looks like ATK's got a bit of a fight on top of them as well. I can't really make out who they're fighting based on those names, but PunX, it's PunX. It has to be PunX. I was like, okay, it might be PunX, but maybe PunX won't choose to go in this location. So now ATK versus PunX. ATK's already won a fight against PunX, so I'm sure PunX just needs to gather themselves and they know who they're against, and it's already going downhill for them, as it does seem that one entry frag is being made. There's a second entry frag, so now it's colder, left alone to face the world against ATK. And looking at the kill feed as well, it looks like 69 has also fallen into the hands of DNMK. So top dogs in this one, showing exactly why they're the top dogs.
ATK, they're looking to claim Crash Site as their own, and DNMK looking to claim Spotted Lakes as their own, making statements here left, right, and center. We are down to 18 teams. 18 teams. We've already had 2 teams drop in a couple of seconds. This is insane. But you love it to see it. I mean, this is Apex. This is Battle Royale action at its finest. And already we've got our top dogs making a good sort of a statement now. They got that opportunity to get their loot through. They've got an opportunity. Obviously, now they've taken some points. So they can rest easy, get their loot game up. And for the rest of the teams, of course, doing the exact same. It looked pretty respectful towards the rest of the map. I didn't really see a lot of 50-50s happening that side. So we should still be having quite a good loot phase coming up.
Yeah, and I mean, that's going to be a big blow to PunX, who I think we're tricked pretty much. I feel like they were robbed of their spot. They won it in the first game, and then ATK is like, no, Spotted Lake was a little bit too hectic for us. We're gonna come to Crash Side and take this 50-50. And yeah, I mean, ultimately, the positioning on PunX was just a little bit off there, and hopefully they can bounce back, in tomorrow's games of Kings Canyon. But that's it for PunX on Kings as we tune into Krokkenosters. And 69 is actually here, so I actually think. Ooh. What team was there on on DNMK. Not too sure. We'll have to find out later. But Krokkenosters now in 69 are on top of each other and seem to be trying to take a fight here. Surge doesn't have an armor, so 69 are really not in a good position to be taking out this fight. But it looks like they're gonna have to do it anyways because Krokkenosters isn't letting loose here. But it now looks like Crazy Rage is taking a lot of damage. Might get knocked. The team needs to aggress here to try to help their teammate out. Things seem to have balanced out. They even 8 shots though, just a little bit too crazy. And now Turbo and Leaf have strolled up in to take them out. So now it's just Akame, slow, Octane running.
Alone and afraid as we tune into Underrated, looking to have a much better game this time around. 69 Gaming, I mean, Akami alone and afraid in market there, trying to stay alive. Ooh, as another team is falling victim to Underrated. So now the recovery here, Octane, you're going to have to run fast, my man, because there's a banner to be recovered, there's a Gibby to be revived, still with not a shield. Still no shield available for Surge, but we'll see how that pans out. I don't think it's safe by any means necessary right now, as Underrated also looking to take the rotation through. I mean, they've done quite a bit of damage there, gotten a few kills themselves, points on the leaderboard. And now, I mean, these rotations are already happening so fast. I mean, the zone is starting to come in as we talk about it, but where are the rest of the teams? It's weird, though, that 69, you know, the Krokkenosters actually haven't just jumped on, you know, that last remaining player of 69. They're still leaving him to actually get the res off. So now they're going to be looking at a 3v2 situation. If they've recovered the banner, it doesn't look like they have, but that still means that 69 are recovering from the situation. How?
They are going to be making the recovery and keeping track of the kill feed so everybody knows what's happening. It seems like Mayo Addicts is up against EGSA right now. K9 has taken down Viaz, but 69 just seems to be getting overwhelmed right now as Leaf comes in and takes Surge out. So Akame again running is the storyline right now for 69 Gaming, and it's just unfortunate. Underrated actually are getting involved in that fight, I believe, with EGSA and Mayo Addicts, and the server has shut down unexpectedly, and it happens. It looks like we got a bit of a server crash, ladies and gentlemen. Esmery, things were starting to get a little bit heated up, though. You know, I was checking that kill feed, and I saw a lot of top dogs starting to, you know, clash heads there. And I thought as soon as we spectate over, EGSA, Mayo Addicts, and or Underrated was going to be taken out.
And I mean, it's just insane to see. So you have all of these fights going down. They're actually, you know, playing the long game. I believe, you know, letting those 69 players rotate through, actually make the recovery. And then as they make the recovery, who do they run into? They run into EGSA. They run into the likes of Underrated, also looking to take a fight there, looking to take a couple of kills on their own. And it's firing up. It's firing up. These teams have to make the points here. They have to get the points to get themselves into that top 10. And you can really see the pressure starting to build. Dr. Sid, how are you feeling?
Listen, it wouldn't be complete without some drama. Ladies and gentlemen, some people are praying and their prayers have been answered. Some people are pissed off. I think we need Camille right here to give his offering to the gods of the servers to make sure that there are no more crashes. But it happens and it's been happening. But what do we do at the Apex Legends NODWIN Gaming African Throwdown? We rise up again. So ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break, reset the servers, and come back and replay match 3. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Apex Legends African Throwdown. You are here with Dr. Sid, Thendo, and Esmery as we are bringing you the hottest action in Apex Legends on the planet right now, and it is happening right here in Africa. We've just had a technical difficulty with the servers, but we are up and running and we are back and ready to go back into a rematch of Game 3, which is the third game in on our grand final day 1. So, ladies and gentlemen, not wasting any time, I'm going to leave you in the very capable hands of Tendo and Esmery as they walk you through the rematch of Batch 3.
Ooh, I think a couple of teams are thanking the server gods right now. Thank you for the second chance at getting into Kings Canyon. We might see another interesting moment at Crash Site and Spotted Lakes there. Then I don't know. What are you thinking? Are you thinking some teams are going to be making different decisions this time around?
Yeah, I mean, look, PunX, I'm looking at the most. I mean, I'm a firm believer in it doesn't matter who your opponent is, in front of you, you have to take the fight, right? But look, I mean, landing Crash Side with 80k, you're gonna have to be fighting them again. And after you lose the first fight, I'm sure now they're probably gonna be opting out of that fight. And I'm sure the team as well that landed on DMK is probably gonna be opting to look for a different location. Not too sure if Runoff was taken. I didn't really look at the map that well. So maybe if PunX caught on to Runoff being a little bit empty, they might be able to land Runoff this game and be uncontested and still, retain that almost same rotation part that we were planning. But yeah, I mean, look, Christmas came early, call it 25th of December. I don't know what you want to say. You got your second chance, so we're back again. And I mean, this has happened multiple times. So the real mental fortitude of the players is going to pull in now as you have to come back for a rerun of a game that had already started. And Esmery, who do you think is really going to come up on top of this one? Look, besides Blind Peekers being absolutely insane today, who else do you think is really, giving a little bit of action that we haven't seen do too well, but can definitely show up today?
My eyes are going to be on EGSA, they're going to be on OGC, they're going to be on the likes of Mayo Addicts as well, and of course your DNMKs, your 80Ks. But, DNMK and 80K, they've been, from the second map, they've been showing up who they are and why they are here at this point, and I am waiting for one of them to take one of those Ws. I have to see one of them. Like, if I don't, today then is going to be a very interesting day, and then we've got a couple of words to have because that's insane. They've been the consistent top dogs in our group stages. So if we don't see them taking a win today, then tomorrow they're going to be out for blood from the get-go. If that is the case, of course, they have 4 more maps tomorrow. They've got the space to use. I am seeing a lot more respect this time around in terms of the way that these teams are dropping. So I'm hoping, and I'm such a good year that we're going to see a little bit of a longer loot phase and for teams to properly set themselves up for these fights coming through.
Yeah, definitely. A longer loot phase will also give, a couple of those teams that, not every team is built to fight off drop. Some teams really do need to get a little bit of loot, get these armors that give them a little bit of an advantage over their opponents. And I'm looking at the way Tenshi's dropping here. They're uncontested. So it does seem like those teams are opting to, land in a different position, because if they were contested, obviously Tenshi wouldn't be all the way out here by himself. So now DNMK have dominated Spotted Lakes and they get all this loot to themselves, which is big, especially when you get a place like this, and that's why you see such these contestants, right, Esmery, because people want these areas with really good loot. And underrated now in the fight here at Artillery, and I wonder who's on the receiving end of that one.
Oh, looking at that kill feed right now. So much damage here from Cheetah Boy. That Spitfire. We know Season 8 Spitfire is just absolutely cracked. Going through it now, I mean, underrated. They have no reason really to fall back here. Oh, it's we win these. We win these. No, running away with only 2 members as well. I mean, the duo here that we've seen ratted out to their absolute heart's content in the semi-finals, looking to try and stay in this. They want to get out of that situation immediately. They're saying, hey, underrated, you can have it. We don't want it, man. We're leaving, please.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate, and they're actually the only duo team in this lobby as well. So right now, I think most of the other people that had a little bit of issues with their team have reconnected, and everybody's in this game. So we win these. Really have to play this for the third parties, for the rat gameplay, that we've come to love and see in this African Throwdown. But yeah, it's a very slow start. No one's really in each other's face just yet. Everybody's actually, you know, hitting a proper loot phase here, getting their loot up.
Finally, it's the first time we've seen it today. Although, you say that, and then MaFisi looks for the fight here. We might be seeing our final first team going down. But like we said, it's been a decent loot phase. Everyone seems to be kitted so far. We've got full blue shields here on MaFisi and all 3 players as well. Real Esports now, the sister team number 2, looking to rotate out of the situation as they're taking quite a bit of damage right now. Same can be said for the MaFisi. Doing a bit of damage there with the triple take, but looking to take their kills now. Royal Esports number 2 looking to take the first team wipe. We've seen it happen before, but will it happen once again? He's got one member going down. Cloudy and Alpha now looking to stay in this, and this team is down. They've done it, I think. They have solidified themselves their first squad wipe.
Yeah, and throughout the semi-finals, Royal Esports 2 was really dominating this area of the map in Gauntlet. They were really able to win their fights out, and you know, no difference here in the finals. So good on them. They're able to get those early kill points, able to secure, you know, some extra loot as well after those guys rotate on top of them. So yeah, I mean, things are going good for them. Hopefully they can make it towards the end game and we can see them in one of those end games. But Mayo Addicts here at the rig, a bit of a fight. So Mayo Addicts and EGSA are in a fight here at the rig. Edge of the zone. The zone is also going to be closing in. PunX is actually also involved in this one. Wait, PunX was cooped up in the corner. Not too sure where they had rotated from, but definitely, you know, EGSA stuffed them out, was able to take them out of that one. So we're going to be without PunX again early on. Mayo Addicts actually opted to rotate out of that fight as fast as they really could, and you know, good reason. They don't really have the armor to go up against EGSA, so that was a little bit awkward where PunX was in that situation, man. They were kind of in a sandwich of the 2 teams, and then ultimately the one team decides to jump on top of them, and the other team now takes that opportunity to rotate out. So Mayo Addicts really want to play this one well, knowing that they don't have too many points on the leaderboard right yet. They really want to get their placements up.
Man, what luck there for PunX. Oh no, second time around and it's just not looking good. DNMK now looking to take out another, and it looks like they will be looking to take out what seems like 69 Gaming now. Rotation's coming in though. Octane Pads putting in the work right now, and we've got so many teams in the kill feed right now dropping, and I think OGC might have also just dropped completely. ATK tuning back into them here towards Watchtower. They've spotted a few players out here doing quite a bit of damage now. And oh no, are we seeing an ATK DNMK going down already? We've only got 17 squads left, and now we've got our top dogs that were waiting to take a W, taking the fights immediately. Blind Peekers as well. My goodness gracious, this is just absolutely insane.
It's like when you shake a Coke bottle and you just like pop it open and everything starts to explode. That's exactly what's happening now. A lot of teams are getting into the fights. And yeah, ATK had that rev push onto DNMK, managed to get a 1 knock, but they did it all the way at the top of the Watchtower, so I don't think they're going to really re-aggress that because they're not going to have a way out. So I think DNMK is safe for now. Blind Peekers doing well here to pick up some extra kill points here at the edge of the zone. Zone is on their back, so they do have to make their way in as quickly as they can. But yeah, Blind Peekers doing well again to, you know, clean up some kills and make their way in. 69 Gaming is going down to DNMK, so I think maybe they just cleaned up that fight that had started before ATK looked for the third party. And things have calmed down just a tiny little bit after that huge explosion of fights.
My goodness gracious, I'm still just watching this kill feed. Mayo Addicts also taking a couple of kills there. Oh no, it's Outlaws in fact that they're busy killing. So we're down to 16 squads now, and I think I don't wanna jinx it, but I think that might have been Outlaws going down, but we'll see how it ends up being. Rotations now coming through, and a lot of teams actually might be running into each other as they try and get into the zone. Elite Gaming now, we've seen them actually, you know, pumping a couple of shots there. They've already got 1 kill, obviously 1 team wiped down, which was in the form of PunX there early on. So they're looking good. They're going to take the rotation there through. Underrated now. My goodness gracious, taking a lot of damage. And I actually think this is to ATK right now, looking for the second team wipe. Man, they are out for blood.
Yeah, Underrated just in a bit of an awkward position considering they rotated right on top of ATK, and ATK had the high ground, and I can only imagine after they spotted one member out, they just tried to take Bradley out as quickly as they could. I wonder if they tried to hit a bit of a ref play. I think I saw a bit of a remnants of that, and it just didn't look like it worked too well for Underrated to be having a bit of a rough one here. And speaking of rough runs, it's just zone fights all the time in this one, and lag versus EGSA in the zone. These are two very mechanically gifted teams, so this fight could go on for a little bit too long, and the zone's obviously going to be taking away at them. EGSA holding the building, lag on the outskirts, trying to make the rotation into the building, but it actually looks like they're going to opt to go up to Repulsor and make the longer rotate. Let's hope they have enough meds to survive this one, because that is a little bit of a long way that they're choosing to go, but that or fight EGSA, I think they're rather going to have to go for the rotation.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, taking that fight in the zone as well, now as it's closing, it's gonna start chunking at your HP as well. It's gonna just get worse and worse the longer you stay. So get out of that situation as quickly as possible. And our blind peekers here tuning into them, spotting out another team. Aquatic just beaming players right now there with that 301, as we know it to be such a good gun, doing the absolute best amount of damage right now. And man, they're not stopping. They're looking to take out the charged rifle Charlies as they rotate through. Oh no, here comes the bombardment as well. That's not going to be a fun time to deal with. I don't know how they're going to get themselves out of this one. It's Brandy and Massa now to try and clutch it out. Unfortunately, one member down. Blind Peekers just not looking to stop anytime soon. And streamer team down as well to DNMK. Top 16, they've made it, but man, they're also just not finding such good luck right now.
Yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate for Revert. Caustic, I think they might have just been caught sleeping, and DNMK was on the prowl, and I think they got one entry frag and were able to just, dog them down real quick. And Blind Peekers doing the same thing here to CRC. Not too sure if they cleaned up everybody or if one or two members from CRC was able to get away. And Aquatic is just so aggressive on the Octane. I mean, gets the knock, jumps on over to close the distance, and that's exactly what you need from your entry frag, is to close that distance. But ATK now in a fight as they take out Crazy Rage. They're looking to send it back in after their rev push. It does look like Outlaws is still in this one right here, as Catboy managed to find a knock there onto Cool Kinders. And now Krokkenosters in a tough position to just Washburn hiding in the bushes. But I mean, if there's anywhere you want to be, a bush where no one can see you. But ATK in a bit of a rough position here as Wiseau's trying to climb up here. Wiseau goes down to the bombardment, and that's going to be unfortunate, as the ATK is now down to a man, 2 up. They can maybe get this res. The res might be a little bit sticky for them in this situation, especially with teams like EGSA in the area. But now Outlaws have bitten a bit too much than what they can chew, because now EGSA has run up on them and have taken them out, I believe. And that's going to be Outlaws down for the count.
Man, they've just not been having a good time. ATK still, Wiseau is down. That bubble's gonna pop. Gibby's gonna go for that res, get themselves back into the action as quickly as possible, because this fight is about to break down. And Krokkenosters down to 1 member right now, trying to stay alive, trying to play that placement game. And ATK looking to recover from the situation quite comfortably right now, but they still want to get their revenge. They still want to do the damage that they need to. Roll Esports 1 now, the sister team, looking to make a bit of a splash themselves. They haven't had the best performances so far, and they are really looking to give their sister team a bit of a run for the money there. They want to get into that top 10 as quickly as possible. Elite Gaming now rotating around ATK. Dustweaker now, abilities locked in. Revenant looking to do a little bit of damage this time around. Elite Gaming still in zone, still trying to rotate into safety. And it's just crazy right now. We're down to 12 squads. Tendo, man, this is insane.
Yeah, it's definitely insane. ATK trying to make the rotation in on the edge of the zone. Lee from LTT is still alive. The Solar Rat adventures continue here, but I wonder how many meds he's going to have for this zone rotate. Does seem like he has a little bit. ATK have been spotted down, sliding the hill. They've got to find some cover to stabilize here, and they managed to. Gonna just chill, get their heals up. ATK in the beginning of the tournament so far I was thinking they were a little bit unpolished. I think they were playing a little bit, unwarmed up, but they're definitely warmed up right now, and they're definitely showing why they're best, definitely one of the best teams on the African continent. And it's lovely to see. Their rotations have been good. They've been in a bit of awkward positions, but I mean, like, all these teams seem to just be caught in awkward positions. I mean, EGSA is actually just right behind them, trying to make it in as quickly as they can. There's still 12 teams in this one, so there's still quite a densely populated area.
Yeah, I mean, the zone is so small. Like you said, we've got 12 teams still alive, which is fantastic to see. Once again, teams on Kings Canyon really holding their own, really making sure that they get those placements. They're playing for the points here, which is fantastic to see. It's what you need to do in a final situation right now. We still have a lot of teams actually in the zone still. Royal Esports being one of them. And as we tune into Elite Gaming now, taking a couple of fights, trying to make a couple of plays here. The Octane pads coming in clutch now. Revenant looking hot. They do have that death totem to work with here. Not going to be dropping it just yet. Instead, just trying to find out where exactly this team is, and they're actually rotating out. That wingman doing the damage as it comes through with the triple take. Cloudy goes down, and the rotations still have to happen. And oh, it's Royal Esports number 2 right now in a situation of their own. Man, they just seem to be on the hunt, and it's beautiful to see. Lag as well tuning in just on the other side of this. Might actually be able to catch a couple of kills their own, go for the third party potentially, but Elite Gaming is now aware of their position, so they are just waiting to find a pathing here to get themselves into safety, because the zone is on that side, but they can rotate around. So they're looking good. They've got the time, and they're actually going to be choosing to take a safe way around, as they should. Finals, you have to make those decisions very wisely.
You do indeed. And actually, just to drop a little bit of knowledge onto Lag that maybe a couple of people don't know where they're from. I saw them this weekend actually playing in GLL. What is it, Savi and Nai, and they're our Egyptian team actually representing Egypt. They're taking the continent by storm. They're definitely performing in their scrim, matches, and they've been performing in our African Throwdown as well. So kudos to them. But DNMK as well as Gutbusters have a teammate down. Luckily, Gutbusters still have the res available, but it looks like DNMK's teammate has been taken down for the count. So a couple of fights breaking off in the middle of the zone. They do have Clutch's banner. The res is close by, but it's gonna draw a lot of attention onto DNMK. But it actually seems like they're dropping a mobile res that they can just res him out in the open, probably closer to his loot, so he can just land on it and get it back. There's still 11 squads in this one, Esmery. And look at this zone as well. It's so open-ended. It's ending towards that Spotted Lake area where there's just so much open ground. And now EGSA are in a little bit of a fight here. Vyaz is gonna have to pop a battery before he gets back and involved. Someone's on his door right now. They're sliding in. The flatline is huge from Majin. Vyaz has taken up a lot of damage, though. They're fighting ATK, so this is a really big fight. EGSA versus ATK, who will come up on top. Right now, they've got the man advantage, right? EGSA. ATK need to try and stabilize. On top of the roof here is Waiso, holding things down, trying to give as much information to his teammate. EGSA as well, gonna slow things down. Ideally, they need to try get that kill and get Dust out of this before they get a res, and maybe he's gonna go for a sneaky res here, or is he trying to bait the res? No, the door's gonna get kicked down. Oh, this is so stressful right now. He drops the silence in front to deter that kick from coming in, but it looks on the opposite side, there's a little bit of pressure happening. Jazz jumps down to try deal with the opposite member of ATK. Vyaz has taken up a lot of damage and he can't get knocked here, or the tides are going to shift. This fight is so tense. It's a stalemate on both sides here. Chambi needs to come back in. Chambi's getting beamed from above. Someone's been spotting them from where? Yes, Jazz. Jazz goes down to Waiso though. So now ATK put themselves back to win this fight.
Oh, the potential is there. Elite Gaming, they're looking to take out ATK early on, looking to solidify a spot here. But Vyaz, he still has to pop meds. I mean, he's just been popping shields. I haven't seen him touch a syringe yet. They're going to go for the res right now to get their teammate back into the action. Of course, now Elite Gaming completely back on the back foot right now. 2v3, and that bombardment is going to come in. They need to move out. They can't be sitting here. They need to get cover, or that will be it. So they're going to have to back off of this fight. They're going to have to leave ATK to fully recover and get set for the rest of this match. Vyaz finally getting a Phoenix kit there, get those meds up. But man, that was just a crazy stalemate to see. Both ATK and Elite Gaming not in a position to really take it. But Somehow, some way, ATK, they made the plays, they've recovered completely, and they are ready for the rest of these 11 squads. The zone is tiny and lag now. The next team to potentially go out, we've got a disconnect on the side of lag as well, so it's only Savvy now. The Egyptian gods are going to have to be on their side this time around, because this clutch has to come through if they want to get into that top 10 placement right now, get those points in. DNMK going crazy as well, looking to squad wipes. Man, oh man, they are on the hunt. They've got their teammates all fully rezzed. Lag in a position now to potentially get out of this. Savvy, the Octane's trying to make a play here. He's moving left, he's moving right. He's just trying to get out of this. He's beaming players, but it's not going to be enough as we go to our top 8 squads right now. DNMK on the hunt for more teams, and it looks like they're going to get it. A little bit of a clap back there as we make it to top 6, and it's just absolute chaos on the rest of this map.
Yo, it is chaotic to say the least right now. ATK, DNMK is still in this one, and they're looking to be favored. Blind Peakers is here. Blind Peakers is doing so much work today. They are proving to be one of the best teams in the African continent, definitely. ATK have managed to stabilize, and honestly, I just want to give a shout out. ATK brought that fight back against EGSA. They were a man down. They got the res as well. I just think the coordination between the two members was just so well to, you know, bamboozle EGSA and put them in their favor. But it's still going to be tough for them to win this game, considering the position that DNMK find themselves on. They have so much control of the zone. They have so much control of this area. And they have armor subs on the ground as well. There's still 5 squads left. So they've been a lot of teams to pull into this fight. As soon as I say that, someone goes down. So 4 squads. And we'll just get right into this next zone that's going to be closing in the next 30 seconds.
We still got DNMK, we still got ATK, we still got Blind Peakers in this, and now ATK looking to take out Underrated, who have made it to top 4, but it's only Cheetah Boy left as Fortune goes down, has to clutch it out, but he's got 3 members of ATK to deal with, and there's just so much damage flying around somehow, some way. He is still alive. As I say that though, out for the count is Underrated, so now we are back to the same top 3 that we had on Olympus. It's ATK, it's DNMK, it's Blind Peakers. This is absolute hype. Tendo, how is this going to go down?
Yeah, it's a bit awkward for ATK, who have to basically rotate in front of the 2 teams here. So eyes are going to be on them, and they're going to be out in the open. DNMK, I think, have the best position to win this game. They've got some high ground to work with. They've got full overview of what's happening in front of them. And speaking of overview, here it is as they start to beam down onto ATK. Tenchi taking a couple of shots down there in the valley. Things have slowed down just a tiny little bit. It looks like 20 is Kraber shotted just. So now there's a member down on the opposite side of ATK versus Blind Peakers. Blind Peakers playing the low ground here. DNMK have snuffed this out. They're trying to get involved as well. So now all 3 teams are almost on top of each other. I wonder if the Rez is going to be able to get down. No, it doesn't look like Dust is going to be in this final fight. So now ATK are just getting brutalized on the opposite side. Champi goes down as well. So now it's ATK, Swiso, who's left alone as the solo Rev player. He goes down. So now DNMK versus Blind Peakers. Can Blind Peakers get another win in today's African Throwdown finals? DNMK doesn't want it to happen as DNMK are taking some shots from above here as Tenchi melts them down. The dome pops in. The massive shots are going to come through from Tenchi. 1, 2, 3. Whoa. DNMK are your champions of game 3.
Man, oh man, the revenge is here. DNMK, they have come for the clutch. They have literally played the Blind Peakers game this time around. They took the fight, they waited for the perfect opportunity there, and they made it work. Beautifully played. They had such good rotations from the get-go. They had cover, they had armor stops, they had everything they needed to, and once again, time and time again, the survivors have come out on top. Dr. Sid, how you
Guys,
doing?
I think I'm traumatized by the term third party. I don't think I ever want to hear that again. Like, literally, you can't be in a fight focusing on one team, and at the back of your mind, you're paranoid that somebody's going to come from somewhere and take you out. That was just amazing play by our top 3 teams, Blind Peakers, ATK, and DNMK. I mean, what did I just witness? The first match was won by Blind Peakers. The second match was won by DNMK, Blind Peakers again, and then DNMK, our current champions, have come through. So we've got Blind Peakers taking 2, DNMK taking 1. I just don't know, man. This is This is hot right now. It is the African Throwdown of Apex Legends, brought to you by NODWIN Gaming. Tendo, who's your MVP? Come on.
Look, I think the MVP for that game, I was looking at DNMK and how the kill distribution was going, and it actually looked like Artrilli was having a bit of a massive game. So I think the IGL of DNMK is taking our MVP for today. Or at least in this game, I mean.
Well, let's take a look at the MVP for Game 3. And you called it with 9 kills, 2,567 damage is DNMK all truly. This has been such a vibe. Game 3 done. One more game to go at the Apex Legends African Throwdown, brought to you by NODWIN Gaming. Esme, what was your highlight play in this last match?
Man, I've just seen so many teams really coming out in clutch today, and it's beautiful to see. It's beautiful to witness. I think, honestly, my highlight would be, I can't pick one. I can't. There were just so many stellar
I think
fights.
that fight between ATK and EGSA honestly was so hectic, though, right? Yeah, I think maybe for me that was my highlight. The way that ATK was just able to turn the tables in that fight and put themselves in like almost a game-winning position.
I mean,
So listen, this is what we call the tip of the iceberg, ladies and gentlemen. If you thought the game 1, 2, and 3 was hot, watch out for game 4, and we'll take a look at the standings when we come back after this break at the Apex Legends African Throwdown, brought to you by none other than NODWIN Gaming. It is Stendo, Esmery, and me, Dr. Sid. See you in a bit. Ladies and gentlemen, we are roughly halfway through the grand final of the Apex Legends African Throwdown brought to you by NODWIN Gaming. Welcome back after the break. My name is Dr. Sid, and I'm here with Esmery and Thendo, and we have been looking at amazing gameplays from some of the most amazing teams across the African continent, bringing you hot Apex Legends action. Thendo, you have called it on some of these teams being in the top four. At the end of the day, who do you think is going to be in the top four spot after the final game?
Yeah, I mean, I think our top four for the end of the day is probably going to be Blind Peakers, EGSA, DNMK, and ATK. Obviously, that's not in order of like the table, but I think those will be our top four teams that end of today. And I mean, look at that. It's like I can see the future.
You can see the future.
But yeah, I mean, look, coming after our third game, look, Blind Peak is sitting at 82 points. They've done so well today to get that lead. But it's not that big of a lead looking at DNMK just behind them with 75 points. So DNMK can definitely catch up within this fourth game to become, you know, the number one team to end of the day. EGSA a little bit behind, as well as ATK. They did have that bit of skerfuffle in containment, so you know, maybe if one of the teams made it out that one in a better position, we would see them maybe above DNMK. I'm not too sure how the points would have went, but yeah, I mean, looking at our top 10, underrated, 5th place, not bad considering I don't think underrated has been having a really good day. So for them being in top 5 right now, they've definitely got their heads up, and they're definitely going to keep moving forward. Revert, Caustic had a bad, I want to say, game as well. They went out a little bit early, so to still be in the top 10 at 6th place, it's not too bad. And then looking down, PunX, yeah, PunX could be doing better, but yeah, they're just being caught out. But hey, Dr. Sid, look at Outlaws. They're almost there in the top 10.
I just want to point out something because I think Outlaws actually made it into the top 10. If I'm not mistaken, when they're tied, when teams are tied with points, kill points at the next filter. So if you're looking at the kills between Royal Esports 2 and Outlaws NG, Outlaws have 4 kills, which should place them in the top 10 as we speak. So this is looking mighty interesting. If they can hang on to this and probably push on in the next few games, that would be amazing. And like I said, I promise that I stick to my word. $100 they make it just for representing to encourage the guys from West Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'm with 2 amazing people who are going to take us through. See what I'm doing there? The next round, which we are about to bring to you, and we're going to a match and a place which is King Canyons for match number 2 plus 2. It didn't really come out.
It was close.
But we are going back to Olympus, and this map, I swear, has brought out some of the most aggressive plays I've seen throughout this entire tournament, and has made me have a newfound respect for the Gibby bubble. Do you know what I mean? And ladies and gentlemen, Esmery, what are you looking forward to in this final game for today?
I really want your underdog teams to come out on top this time. I really want the likes of PunX, underrated teams, those teams that have really been getting caught out in their placements. They've been, doing fantastically in terms of kill points, don't get me wrong, but they haven't been getting those placement points. I need them to do better this time. I need them to be in a better position. And I mean, we had such good respect there on that second version of King's Canyon. Really got good loot phases going through. And then once again, just towards the end there, it sort of fell off for a lot of the teams. I want them to ship up and shape up, because this is it. This is the 4th map for the last map for today. They've got 4 tomorrow, but this is the point where you make a stand.
All right, guys, I'm going to leave you here to take us through the final game of the day. Is the Apex Legends African Throwdown, brought to you by NODWIN Gaming. This is the grand final, day 1, day 2 coming up tomorrow. This is the final game. Take it away, Esmery and Thendo.
It is the halfway point of the grand finals, game 4. And when you're halfway in the competitive Apex tournament, it's when things really start to get heated up, Esmery, because now we kind of know how our top 10 is starting to shape up, right? We can still share a little bit of shaking, obviously, from our bottom 10 teams. I'm looking at like OGC, who are sitting like at 19th, which is just like,
oh yeah,
baffling to me. I thought that, be doing a lot better, but obviously things have been a bit tough. First game they went into ATK, second game DNMK. I'm not too sure how the third game ended out for them, but they did get themselves in a little bit of a fight. So I just think their rotations today haven't been as good as they usually are. But yeah, you said PunX as well needs to show up. They've been doing good in gunfights, but their rotates are just being a little bit off.
yeah. I mean, I think they've got 4 placement points with 10 kills. Like that speaks volumes in terms of just like one little bit of a change of placements is obviously going to guarantee them a lot better. They're very close. They're already in that top 10, so it's just solidifying their points even further and then making sure that tomorrow they've got a bit of breathing room, because they need to get, all of these teams need to get into top 4, which is where you're going to be getting that cash dollar, which is where you're going to be getting a piece of that prize pool. So naturally, that's where everyone wants to be right now. And looking at it, I mean, ATK, they look like they've got the entirety of Docs all to themselves. The rest of the team's not looking too bad in terms of contention. We've got a little bit there towards the left side, but we'll see how it ends up being. I think right now Elite Gaming here dropping, making sure that they should be all right. Ooh, a little bit of an invitation there, a little bit of secret there for Apex.
The first time I'm actually seeing that, so that's actually pretty interesting. But Estates right now, the home of EGSA, who are going to be comfortable here, and Estates is really good, especially if you get it all to yourself. There's so much, loot distributed around the area. You just need to make sure you check every nook and cranny to make sure you get all of that good loot. But no early. Never mind. Early fight breaking loose. Mayo Addicts back against the wall. It's all up to Cooper with the Eva 8 right now. Things have gone south for them. Is Cooper going to be able to clutch this one? Jumps down in. It's MaFisi versus Mayo Addicts, and Mayo Addicts clutches it up by the skin of their teeth. Cooper brings them back into this one, and it's going to be able to res cold. I was about to say, yeah, calm game, Esmery, nothing crazy just yet.
You lie.
Like everybody's fine at home, but yeah, I lie a lot. Kudos to Mayo Addicts, though. They were able to clutch up this fight and get a few kill points on the board.
I am confused though. I thought we've after the second version of King's Canyon, we've all established, be a little bit more respectful. Let's get the loot game going. But nope,
Oh,
a lot of these teams have decided they are going for the aggressive stance here. And talking about aggressive blind peekers, here they are to take out Mayo Addicts, the second team wipe potentially. Mayo Addicts now, of course, going to get a bit of a surprise, because they were not expecting anyone, and as they pop the res, that teammate is going to have nothing, and they're going to head straight into a fight here with DNMK. Not going to be connecting the knock just yet, but 20 now has taken down K9. So Mayo Addicts, they're down to 2 players, one of which has just spawned. A fresh spawn, actually both down, so oh no! It's only Cooper left for Mayo Addicts, who has to make the rotate, has to get out of that situation and potentially play the break game now. What?
Yo, Mayo Addicts have just been having such a bad day today, I think, man. Like, we really expected them to be in our top 10, but they're sitting there in our bottom 10, and this isn't going to do anything better for them. So they really need to come back tomorrow for the last 4 games and really shift things up. And, gold O301 as well. That's going to be really big for the team of blind peekers, who just have read the game so perfectly today. But speaking of reading games here, we're going to have to tune into PunX, with Tremble taking a couple of shots with the Mastiff, doing quite well here. They managed to get one down on the side of Colder, so now PunX doing well. They've landed in Rift, and they found a very easy fight for them to take up, but they haven't quite cleaned it up just yet, and that's going to be the cleanup there. And PunX, top 10 team, doing top 10 things, showing presence in the lobby. Let's hope their rotation isn't, cut off by a team like ATK, who are pretty much on the same side of them, but it seemed like ATK doing what they were doing in the earlier game on Olympus, just holding ground and gathering information before they make too many rotations.
It's quite interesting to see, and we've been talking about this. A lot of these teams, they've just gone to their roots, and I mean, ATK playing as they do in the GLL Masters, doing good. Either way, we are down 2 squads. Revert Caustic now are going to find themselves a bit of a team wipe here in the form, of Krokkenosters. Looking at it now, my goodness gracious, and Elite Gaming now chiming in to get a couple of kills of their own. Looks like they're going to be surprising a couple of teams here as they fall down. Bias, thankfully for the death totem, it is there to give him a bit of a second chance. Elite Gaming doing a lot of damage right now, and in the kill feeds, I do see Underrated taking a couple of kills of their own. So it's just chaos on the rest of this map right now. We're down to 17 squads. The player numbers are dropping like absolute flies, and all these teams are looking for blood. They're looking for points. They want to get into that top 10 and give themselves some breathing room tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. You do need some breathing room for tomorrow, because tomorrow can't be crunch time. Tomorrow it has to be your team coming in focused and ready to just play their game, to clutch out games. And if you're panicking that you don't have enough points today, then you really need to pull your socks up. And a team that does need to pull their socks up is the likes of Lag, who have EGSA in front of them right now. So this rotate's going to be a little bit tough. EGSA, we know they love to gatekeep teams out, so they're going to be willing to take this fight. Lag now trying to take some shots out at EGSA as they're holding the building. The zone is just ticking down, though. You know, every minute and every second they waste over here, Lag, they know they're not getting a position. And I mean the same to EGSA, but on EGSA they know that, you know, they can probably win most of the fights in this lobby, and that's exactly what they're doing. And if they win this fight, they get the loot of these guys. They'll be able to hit this long zone rotate. But ATK on the opposite end now of Lag. So this might be a little bit shaky because ATK, EGSA, Lag are all in the same area.
My goodness gracious, it's not Apex if it's not chaotic, and if it's absolutely just action-packed right now. EGSA looking to get a team wipe, ATK looking to get a team wipe, and Lag is caught in the middle of it. ATK now taking some time to stabilize. Oh, that Revenant silence coming in and just catching Octane, so those heals, those passives, all of those are going to be locked up for the moment. And Elite Gaming now looking to take out ATK once again. It's the revenge story coming back from Kings Canyon, and ATK are just trying to make the rotation out. Jump Pad coming in clutch right now. The Revenant's still working its magic, but they have space now. They've got some time to relax, just reset, and potentially once again recover from the situation that EGSA keeps putting themselves in. Man, oh man, Lag somehow, some way still in this as well. Only 2 members remaining. Of course, Savvy is down. Banner still has not yet been recovered, and they're running into the crosshairs of ATK right now. So this area is quite clustered.
Yeah, and Zone is pulling in on these teams, so they have to start rotating, and taking fights in the zone like this really just, you know, gives away end game positions. And now they'll be fighting in the courier. ATK on the opposite side. It looks like Elite wants to be aggressive on this one. Lag still managed to get out, and if I'm Lag, I'm hightailing it. I ain't even looking back right now. You just need to make your way out of this one. And they're going back for the banner, actually. Nice. Will they be able to get the banner of Savvy just in time? Maybe it's looking a little bit slim. I'm not too sure. The ref totem's gonna be popped by EGSA. They want to take this fight. They don't care that they're in zone. They're going right for it. I wonder how far ATK have managed to get away. It does look like ATK have gotten quite a bit of distance from EGSA, but EGSA gonna send it anyway, all the way across here. ATK just gonna hold some ground and just send them back. And now it's ATK who have the advantage over EGSA, because EGSA wanted to take the fight. They didn't get the positioning in the zone. Now they're stuck in the zone.
Oh, the damage once again. And I mean, it's not the first time we've seen teams taking these fights, these crucial fights. ATK now, I mean, with that advantage as they go through here toward Pathfinder's Fight Night. Fantastic little boxing ring there for loot. But as they make the rotation through, they have a little bit more space here to sort of reset and, you know, gather their wits about them. Get ready for the fight here with ATK. On the back line, though, I believe this should be Lag coming through, looking for some fights. Whether or not the banner is going to be recovered, we will see now. Actually, Drip Apex taking a bit of an opportunity here to get out, and they're going to be running straight into the crosshairs of ATK time and time again. Either you're running into EGSA or you're running into ATK right now.
Yeah, it's kind of rough on this side of the zone, and neither ATK or EGSA are backing away from these fights, so they are just trying to hold their ground and show their dominance in the zone. Bit unfortunate for Drip Apex, who are caught in an awkward position, but ATK have actually made the rotation ahead of EGSA. Are they opting to go back towards Turbine? I think they're just going to try to finish off those kills on either one or two of those members. It actually might even be Lag on that opposite side. No, it's just the one member of Drip Apex. Ice Cream, yo, taking a couple of shots with the Spitfire. Breaks the armor of one. Relaxes just a tiny little bit. or on the opposite end, it's obviously EGSA now who have snapped up blood. They know that one of them is Flesh, but Vaya is taking up a little bit too much damage here, so that's just going to slow things down on both sides here. This fight, Esmeri, is just back and forth between EGSA and ATK right now.
Man, ATK just have not had some space to move. Ice Cream still taking a couple of pot shots here. I mean, he's the lone member of Drip Apex, and he's revealing his position right now. So ATK, ATK down to 2 members right now. It's only one. So with the first he's gonna get taken out here by Lag. The revenge, the full cycle revenge comes through, and Lag take out our champions from so many of the group matches. But ATK are out for the count at top 14.
Yeah, and eventually that's gonna happen, you know what I'm talking about. You're just creating so much noise in the area, teams are hanging around, and eventually you're gonna run into one that's waiting for you, and that's exactly what happened to ATK. So honestly, that was a really tough rotation for them to get out of, but now it's DNMK versus PunX, so it's, you know, top dog versus top dog in these fights, but the top dog of DNMK comes up on top of PunX, and that's just unfortunate for PunX. It feels like PunX is also another one of those teams that just runs into either DNMK or ATK, and then they just end up losing the fight. So a little bit unfortunate, but yeah, the lobby is shaking up right now. It's opened up as ATK, who was sitting at 3rd place, is out of this lobby.
Wow, we win these down to 2 members as well, playing the rat game. Top 12, here we are. I mean, DNMK, they're feeling happy. Clutch, of course, now with the kill lead. 3 kills in his pockets, and DNMK, time and time again, they've just been absolutely punting damage. They're feeling good. They're looking good. And I mean, just the fact that, you know, ATK just did not have a single moment to breathe. Now we're tuning into Blind Peekers. Outlaws still running, still looking to keep it up. Down to 2 members. Unfortunately, that respawn has timed out. And, ooh, they have to be careful, though, because Blind Peekers very close to this position right now. Just outside Rift. They might be able to, you know, go pop in and find a couple of kills. But I think they are aware that there's a few teams just around them. I mean, we're closing our 2nd zone right now, and so much damage has gone through. We win these now down to 1 member, and they have to be careful in the situation here. Octane should be going out of the situation, especially with the zone, with the bombardments. It's just absolute chaos. And Bangalore here in the situation has to make the play in the zone, trying to rat it out here for we win these potentially, as we've got Elite Gaming rotating through for the final push here, for the final kill, put the final bullet in the coffin. And man, this is crazy to see, because we've got 11 squads now, and the zone is still busy closing. The 2nd zone.
The zone is still closing. And I mean, look, as soon as ATK is taken out of that situation, I feel like Elite can just dominate on that side of the zone. But Blind Peekers is also towards that area, so they've got to be a little bit careful. Blind Peekers now seem to stabilize. They're really hugging the edge of the zone here, which isn't what we're used to them. They're usually, you know, the teams that are in the zone ready to take up a game-winning position. So for them, this game might be a little bit tough to get back in, but they're getting their loot up. They're getting ready. DNMK, he had energy also at the edge, but DNMK have got a really good side, though. They've got this little bit of that's in that they can walk up on, and they're just going to use that to their advantage. The armor situation is looking good. And I mean, look, DNMK at this point can overtake Blind Peekers to, you know, end of the day on top of the table, as long as, you know, they end up winning this game, and as well as if Blind Peekers goes down. But Blind Peekers obviously not looking to go down. EGSA hugging here at Solar, and there's so many teams on the edge of the zone.
This is insane. I mean, just looking at the damage, we've got so many rats now in the game to try and get some placement points here. Rotations coming through. Elite Gaming looking for quite a bit of damage so far. Blind Peekers now making their way into Rift, trying to get some positioning here, trying to get some safety. Have to be careful. A lot of these teams now rotating in. I mean, they're in the thick of it right now. We've got teams left, right, and center looking for the exact same opportunities. Mayo, Addicts, Cooper still somehow, some way, after surviving that fight there with Blind Peekers, still managing to get to top 11. And I don't think he's going to stop anytime soon to get those placement points.
Yeah, I mean, look, placement points are so crucial, because at the end of the day, if he somehow manages to get to like a 2nd or 3rd place, he's going to guarantee his team at least, like, you know, 10 plus points. So you definitely have to rat, and you have to write properly. You know, you can't just be out there in the open where everybody can see you. DNMK have come up top here to Gardens to see what they can fish out. And Revert Caustic, look at this positioning from them. It's absolutely amazing because they've got control of center of the zone. They'll be able to see where all the teams will be rotating. So I wouldn't be surprised to maybe see Revert Caustic in our top 3 teams towards the end of this game. It looks like Lag has, bitten up a bit too much than what they can chew after taking up 80k, and it's just gonna be Kalash that's left, and he runs into somebody. Oh no, it's EGSA, and then Kalash goes down, and that's gonna be Lag out for the count. So now we're down to 8 teams.
I just want to give a shout out to Mayo and to Lag for casters cursing them. As we talk about them, as we talk about the rat game, they get taken out. So we are down to 8 squads right now. So much damage has gone down in the meantime, and I'm so sorry for the caster's curse, but here it comes through. Now, we have a final zone heading towards Rift, which is quite interesting to see. I mean, you've got a lot of buildings here to work with in terms of, positioning, in terms of, that safety field that you can work with. Outlaws making it to top 8 right now, trying to get those placement points in, but they have to be careful because just around the corner, it's Elite Gaming right on their tails, looking to take them out.
And actually, Gutbuster goes down to clutch. So DNMK versus Blind Peekers is out of this one, as well as the EGSA is trying to dog down the team of Outlaws. So that's a big shake up in the table. So this is very open for now DNMK to get the first place position at the end of this day 1 of the grand finals. OGC is still in this game as well. So OGC is trying to rack up some points. Here's DNMK just trying to rotate in after getting that fight against Blind Peekers. I wonder how that went down. That must have been insane, but it was cleaned up so quickly we didn't even have time to tune in. So 6 squads left making their rotation, and I wonder if Revert Caustic's position is still, I think it's still in the zone, as we see the team of EGSA pulling up, and it's going crazy as they send out the shots and they take out a member from Royal Esports, Troy. They managed to come top 6 in this game, not too bad from them. Revert Caustic here, and now it's another Kraber out to Cinder, and it's just like his luck today is just not it.
I mean, just that shot there from the Kraber, you hate to see it. It's the worst feeling in the world just to get that instant break now. And Elite Gaming still in the thick of it, looking for some more kills right now. I mean, they've been doing so well. You can see Vias there with 4 kills, looking good. Revert Caustic now in a position. I mean, they've got great positioning, dead center of the zone. They've got that building covered, but I mean, their position is known. They've been taking a couple of shots. So the question in my mind is how are the heals looking? How are the consumables doing? Because they definitely need to be holding on to their resources. We've still got 5 squads left, taking quite a bit of damage, and I mean DNMK now rotating in to join the situation, join the party. Actually do have a drop there, and I mean Tenchi's already got a Peacekeeper, so if you've got another couple of red guns in the party to mix with what we currently have, it's going to be rough for a lot of these teams. I mean, those instant breaks from the red guns, they're just tough. Oh, LTT with the Turbo Rat right now, making it to top 5. That's insane placement points.
Yeah, really good placement points with them, and Turbo is just gonna have to try survive as long as he can out in the outskirts. And oh no, OGC knows you're there. Like, they're looking, they're waiting, they've seen him, they know they're gonna try to get these kills. And here goes. There's nowhere for Turbo to run. Tries to smoke to get some cover, but actually he's gonna be able to rotate just a little bit ahead, and now they don't really have a line of sight, OGC, so that's good. And the zone is about to close, and we'll see exactly where that's gonna pull on and to which team this zone is going to favor. And it does look like the team of Revert Caustic does get the zone again, so they are going to be the only team with a building in this zone. And the problem with that, Esberry, is once you're the team with essentially the god spot, everybody wants that position, and that might cause a lot of pressure onto the team.
And we do have a lot of Gibbies in play, so those defensive bombardments are going to come in clutch. Obviously, having that cover is going to be crucial in these last couple of fights. But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it's one of the only buildings in the zone right now. Of course, people are going to be putting targets on their backs. They want to have this positioning. This is where it's at right now. So, as I said, Revert Caustic, I hope they have a lot of resources in stack right now because they're going to need it. OGC taking quite a bit of damage there themselves. Managing to get to a top 5 is fantastic. Definitely one of their better performances today. We've been waiting for it. We've been wanting to see it. And now Revert Caustic looking to be under some pressure here. trying to stay in it, but it's going to be Elite Gaming trying to hunt them down and get that positioning, and now DNMK as well joining the party. So it's EGSA, it's DNMK, and it's Revert Caustic now fighting to stay alive and to get positioning, doing so much damage. And now OGC, why not? They're tuning in. So we've got all 4 of your full teams tuning in right now to try and get a shot in, to try and get some damage in. It's only the one rat from LTT that's just staying out of this fight. Other than that, everyone's joined the party. Everyone's here for blood.
Everybody's here for blood, and I talked about that position being so vulnerable to Revert Caustic, especially since they don't have a legend that can really hold it down for them like a Caustic. But on the opposite side, it looks like EGSA versus DNMK, as one knock is traded here. They've got the high ground. The trade goes down as well. So now it's just up to Clutch, who's trying to pop a bat, and that's not the play, as EGSA just dropped down onto DNMK and take them out. So now DNMK out of this one. EGSA is still in this one. Turbo, for some reason, is still in this game. Someone fight the rat, please. He's sucking up all your placement points, man. The scan goes out, and that's it. That's gonna be him. He's gonna go down for the count. So now it's gonna be Elite Gaming versus OGC. Elite Gaming do have the position here. They're gonna be trying to rain some shots down on to OGC. The bombardment though goes out. The crypto ulti on top of that as well. So now the armor's cracked. OGC snaps out the blood. They're trying to close the distance now. They're gonna climb up. Here goes Denny with the crypto. He climbs up on top. Majin's on top, holding not so well though. They try to drop inside. The Prowler's not doing any work there as Jazz takes him down. Here comes the PK from Vyas, and EGSA is looking to clean this one up and be the winner of the final game of the first day of the grand final.
Man, oh man, I said it. I couldn't call who was going to be taking this 4th map, and we had our champions completely wiped early on. I mean, DNMK making it to top 5. Blind Peekers getting caught out so early compared to the rest of the games, and now we have a completely new champion for you for our last map of today's finals. We still got 4 tomorrow, and at this point, I feel like it's anyone's game.
I'm totally confused right now. I can't even begin to imagine what the standings are going to look like. That was literally when you talk about the table being turned on its head. I mean, I'm happy. Outlaws NG making the top 10. Then I see LTTs in there, and then I see OGCs in there, and OGC was in 19th position. So if they get a top 2 finish, what's that going to do for the point standings? Like, this is just crazy excitement and madness, because we can tell that this is the grand final of the Apex Legends African Throwdown, and everybody is bringing their A game. We've had 3 amazing matches, and this 4th one was just through the roof. Then they'll talk us about what really happened there with these teams just showing up on this map.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say it's about time for EGSA. I mean, they've been so consistent throughout the day, and I just think they were caught out in some awkward positions in the previous maps, but definitely in this game, they played their rotations so well and they held their ground really, like, you know, to a T. I mean, they somehow managed to get the high ground on top of DNMK, who ultimately had that high ground in that final zone. So I thought maybe DNMK has a really good look at what's happening in front of them, but somehow EGSA takes them out, and after that, they just, you know, run down the rest of that. You know, it was just a great showing from EGSA. I can't even call an MVP from that team right now. I feel like the teamwork there was just so good from everybody, knowing exactly what to do. Like the ref pushes were good.
MVP? Esbury, can you call it MVP?
I don't know. I feel like I saw Jazz quite often there towards the end, but Vyas, the John Wick himself, making MVP. There we go. I mean, it wouldn't be an EGSA win if Vyas isn't showing up in the kill feed one or twice.
You know, and Vyas literally has carried this team from the early stages of the group stages. He has actually shown he has won quite a few MVPs, and he's shown that he's actually a quality player for the team. I think Thunder, you did mention that he was the IGL for the team, and he's definitely putting in the work. The most exciting part about this whole situation is when the standings come up, which will be up in a few seconds. Well, I just want to remind everybody that if you watch today, you know, today was exciting. We had 4 games. This is the halfway point of the grand final of the Apex Legends African Throwdown, brought to you by NODWIN Gaming. Tomorrow at the same time, 1 p.m. Central African time, we are going to be looking at the grand final and find out who ends up in the top spots. Obviously, we know by looking. Let's take a look at the prize pool once again, so that our viewers and our gamers can have an idea of what everybody's playing for. Now, Esme, talk us through this. This is top 4 spots, and what are they getting?
As we said this, top 4, you want to make sure you're getting into that point because that's where you get your share of that $1,000 prize pool. Of course, 4th place taking $100, which is very similar to Dr. Sid's, little challenge to Outlaws. So that's going to be a good one to go through. 3rd place taking 200, 2nd place taking 300, and of course, your champions, the best in the African Throwdown, will be taking $400. So you want to be making sure you're getting those placement points. So it's no surprise that these teams are looking for kills. They're looking for placements. They're getting as many points as they possibly can.
And this is a prize pool like nobody else can do it. Brought to you by NODWIN Gaming. We are almost getting standings ready, as you can tell, with all the action that happened, with all the permutations and the possible changes of what that game 4 could have done. It is taking our guys a few times to get it totally right for you guys, so there are no mistakes. But let's talk quickly about a summary of today, Tendo. Like, Tendo, a summary of today. What would you say has happened? And then what are we looking forward to tomorrow as sort of like a reaction or to what has happened today?
Yeah, I mean, my summary for today is, all I'm going to say is top dogs can be taken down, ladies and gentlemen. And if there's anything to show, is that if you put the time and the effort in, you can definitely be one of the best. I mean, coming into this, a lot of people would be like, yeah, this is ATK's, lobby. This is DNMK's lobby. Like, come on, guys, what are you guys even talking about? But clearly, everybody's yet to play. I mean, Blind Peakers, honestly, is my standout performance for today. They've been showing that, nobodies can just pop up and just dominate the game pretty much. They've been putting in a lot of work and doing so much. So honestly, the summary is the storyline is always bending and shifting and no one's ever really on top.
And that definitely leads into what's going to be happening tomorrow, because if the storyline is always shifting, we can be guaranteed that we have no idea what's going to be happening tomorrow at the Grand Finals Day 2. I cannot wait. Now, obviously, Esmery, there are some teams who we know are doing well right now, or as of the last standings that we took a look at. But who are you rooting for to sort of step into that top 4 or top 5 position, or top 6 position, to give them sort of a chance to be in line for the standings?
I mean, we had Revert Caustic as well making it into top 6 in that last map, and they were already sitting in 6th place, so they were quite happy and, very content with their performance there. I mean, LTT, that rat making it to 3rd place, really going to be helping them out in terms of the standings. Bangalore, you absolute beast. Don't know how he did it, but either way, I think a lot of the teams, weirdly enough, are going to be looking at either the same placements or, relatively the same. I think a lot of our bottom 10 stayed pretty much the same. I mean, there's a few teams, though, that really made a statement. Outlaws as well, they made it quite far initially. Lag, somehow, some way, getting the revenge on ATK, really getting points. And of course, EGSA, I mean, they were in our top 4. And now they're in contention for that top spot.
So what do you think about people like Mayo Addicts? Like, I think they haven't really shown up in the finals.
It's bizarre.
What do they have to do tomorrow? I'm going to push this to Tendo. Tomorrow, Tendo, what do teams like Mayo Addicts have to do to sort of put themselves in a chance to get into a podium finish?
Yeah, I mean, you have to just reevaluate how the day went. I mean, you have the VOD obviously to watch the playback of how the teams were playing. And I mean, I encourage this for everybody to go back and watch. You've just had the first day, you've seen how everybody plays. You go back to the drawing board and you reevaluate what worked, what didn't work, what positions, were dominating, what positions were not so good to play from, and then you just come back with a different game plan. And I think that's exactly what a team like Mayo Addicts probably needs, a different game plan. I would maybe have said the same to OGC, but OGC performed quite well in that final game, coming in our top 3. So I think OGC stuck to their guns and it worked out towards the end. But here's the final results right now. And sheesh, it is right at the top.
Oh, no. Esmery, talk us through this. This is a total shakeup from what we saw in the last standings.
Wow. I just want to point out that there's a 1 point difference between our top spot and our second place right now. Blind Peakers and DNMK. The only thing changing up between the two of them is 1 point difference, and you can see the rest of the standings also massively close. I mean, Elite Gaming not that far off from that top two. ATK unfortunately having, a bit of a revengeful cycle happening to them. Revert, Caustic making top 5, underrated. I mean, they've had such a tough day today, and they still made top 6. PunX stepped it up there. I mean, the kills showing for themselves. LTT all the way to top 8. We win these. The duo squad have been making placements, and they have secured 9th. And Royal Esports really doing well there to get themselves those placement points.
I gotta pause you right there, though, Esmery, because we looked at the standings again, and we've got that little bug that happens. I think actually OGCZA made it into number 10. As you can see, they have the same total number of points as Royal Esports 2, but they have 2 kills, which puts them obviously in the top 10 position and pushing Royal Esports out of that top 10. I'm sure the standings will be updated to effect that particular change. But this just goes to show you have one amazing game, and you've obviously all of a sudden put yourself in a better position.
Wow, it's absolutely insane to see. And I mean, that top 4 has stayed relatively solid, but again, like I said, it's 1 point difference between Blind Peakers and DNMK. Elite Gaming so close to changing it up. ATK not having the best of days today. I think, in terms of like how many times we've seen them really fall victim to, the zone, fall victim to the sandwiches that have been happening. I mean, they were literally just running from like 3 teams permanently in that last map. And that's insane to see. You never have that much time normally, to work with. And they did not have a single time to just take a breath to get some, consumables up, to get their shields up. They just kept going from fight to fight. So tomorrow is going to be interesting because a lot of teams have a lot to show and have a lot to prove.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to say big shout out to everyone who's worked on this project right now, all the observers, all the players, my amazing casters in the room, Dendo and Esmery. This has been the Apex Legends African Throwdown, brought to you by NODWIN Gaming. You have just witnessed the first half, which is the grand final, day 1 of this amazing tournament, with all the amazing action coming from our top teams who have battled all the way from the group stages to this final point. Now, like I said earlier on, this is only the halfway point, so you better make sure you tune in tomorrow from 1 p.m. African time as we take you through the second half of the grand final at the Apex Legends African Throwdown. And I also want to remind everyone, please follow NODWIN Gaming on all our socials. There is some amazing information that you need to get. And if you are watching the finals, make sure you take a picture or a video of yourself watching the finals on any of our streaming platforms. Tag us on Instagram, and we will feature you on our Instagram and Twitter feeds. My name is Dr. Sid. I'm going to say goodbye for now and see you tomorrow. It is Esmery and Teno doing an amazing job. This has been the Apex Legends African Throwdown, brought to you by NODWIN Gaming. This is Grand Final Day 1. My name is Dr. Sid once again, and I will see you tomorrow at Grand Final Day 2.